So, it turns out all you gotta do to solve your problems and stay streaming in 1080p is to just completely uncap your kbps and just ignore Twitch recommendations. Twitch says they only accept a max of 6K. Well, I'm running 13K right now, and it seems like it's working. So I'm sure that's not going to be too stable, but we're going to figure it out. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? Happy Thursday. Happy Self-Sclimprovement. We are starting in health and fitness as per usual. Am I cooked? No. I'm doing great, actually. Too powerful for Twitch. Yeah, that oh, you saw the Sclim meter. Oh, you saw. Oh, you saw. I wonder what's going on over there. Actually, thank you for the 15 streak. And Vixara, thank you for the continued sub. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, halfway there. Yeah, halfway there. Halfway there. Now, again, that's not an even pace. That could be, you know, tomorrow. It could be months from now. Who knows? Who knows? But I think it's deserved at this point. I think it's deserved at this point. I think we're getting there. But welcome in, everybody, to the Thursday stream. As per usual, the marshmallow is pinned in chat. If you have any fitness questions, if you have any nutrition questions, or any general questions at all that you don't want to put in chat, you can feel free to put them right there. You're bashing B? No, I'm evolving. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. Hey, Kretz, what's up? But welcome in. This is our just chatting stream. This is our fitness stream. This is our do whatever we want stream. Today, I promise this time, I'm not, well, okay, I shouldn't promise. I was going to say, I'm intending for it to be a shorter stream. I'm intending for an actual, like, maybe 3 hour today, because frankly, I've just been streaming too much. I've been live way too much this week, and I still got a lot ahead, and I need time to rest. Tyler, thank you for the 45 streak. Broke through the bitrate ceiling. I did. No, you have to remember, I did like what? Okay, Monday, I streamed for 8 hours. Tuesday, I streamed for 4.5 hours. Yesterday is supposed to be a day off. I streamed for another 3 hours. Today, we'll stream for 3 hours. And then Friday, I think I'm streaming for like 5 hours between maybe 6 hours. Oh God. So yeah, I'm gonna need to take it short today just because we have so much going on. So yeah, then we talked for random stuff again. Right, I forgot. I also streamed in the sub-only chat on Tuesday night. I think it was Tuesday night for a few hours too. Ooh, Asia got a good payout. No. You think this might be Asia. But this isn't. Hey, Vamp, what's up? This is not Asia. In fact, this is Santiago, Chile. So we are in South America, and I just gotta say, damn, that's a nice looking place. When I got this in the randomizer, I was like, whoa, look at those mountains in the background. Oh my God. That's like a really nice looking place. Like, ooh, that feels good. So let's give the payout to those people. That's going to be South America today, which we had a couple guesses for, a little bit of points there. Nothing crazy, but we go South America. Random Jim Bro. Hey, what's up? Hey, yeah, the mountains are incredible. The mountains are really, really, really good. There's some other pictures that look like they were almost edited just because of how like good the mountains looked. I was like, that can't be real. Hey, Mika, thanks for the hat. What's going on? But spicy 21K. Yeah, I gotta make people spend those points. So be back at 90K by the end. That's okay. I'm gonna have to make like a VIP thing where it's like 100K for VIP for a month or something like that. I gotta make some incentives off that. I need to add some more. We're probably gonna get back into the swing now that everything's settled down, of updating something once per stream. I know we talked about that at the beginning as like a self-improvement VTuber. I wanted to like add a new toggle or emote or just like a new item every stream, so we're always improving. I fell off that a little bit just because we got so busy because I was doing just so many collabs and so many things like that. But I was thinking last night, and I was thinking like, you know what? I probably don't want to schedule like 4 collabs a week ever again. It's fun. Like I'm happy with all the stuff we're doing this week. I just like, I want to focus. I want to make sure that my like solo content is good, right? And not like impeded by me being tired by doing a bunch of other stuff. So I want to definitely limit it a little bit and not do 4 a week. That was a little excessive. So that being the case, I also want to take some time with that extra time to ideally do more YouTube shorts and TikTok shorts. Maybe make some long form videos, prep things so we can do more cool streams and probably improve stuff every stream. I want to like refocus a little bit. We're coming up actually on the 3-month anniversary of debut in just a few days. In fact, I think, is it Sunday? It is Sunday. Okay, so on Monday we're technically 3 months in. That's quote unquote. So. Yeah, it's a lot of Faces of Mars. Yeah, there's gonna be more Faces of Mars coming. Things like that. You get the idea. But I hope everybody had a good rest day. What'd y'all get up to yesterday? Obviously, you can start sending in questions for the marshmallow if you would like. If you got any fitness and nutrition questions, we do got some topics to talk about today in the world of fitness and nutrition. Hey, Duntham. But first things first, everybody has to take a look at the most important thing that just came out about an hour. Oh!
Face of Mars.
No. You're thinking of Pokemon teams, Little Crow? Why are you thinking about Pokemon teams? Oh yeah, Duntham, you noticed the meter. Meter's getting there. Anyway, check this shit out. Look at this. Look at this. Did you think I wouldn't slay? Did you think I wouldn't slay? You know I'd slay. You know I'd slay. Yeah, so we're all getting, oh, hold on, let me like move this to the side. We're all doing CarrierCon art for CarrierCon coming up, right? So we've been revealing our official CarrierCon art. Oh no, he's hot. We're revealing our official CarrierCon art. So obviously everybody's wearing like capes and hats and skirts and stuff like that. So I can't get left behind, even though I'm just a little Sclimbo. So here we have my beautiful artwork here. Beautiful. What's that thing on my cheek? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, actually a few artworks of mine have that. I think it's like a dimple, but a few artworks of mine have that, and I've never really asked questions about what it is. I'm just like, yeah, sick, awesome. Does he get pregnant? Let's not ask that question. How about we can figure that one out ourselves, and never, actually, let's never figure that out. How many legs days did you have to serve with those heels? Actually, I don't know, my legs are looking a little stringy in this. I don't know, maybe not a lot of leg days. My calves are probably crazy though. Oh, it's your sideways mouth? Oh, that's what it is. Hey, thank you, Ayoda. Thank you for the gift of the King Meg. Yes, Meg is the one who did all these arts, I believe, if I remember correctly. So Meg's been doing all the CarrierCon arts. Why do you look so cunty? Well, good question, Sky. Because I am. Droid Flirk only brought one uniform for everyone. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on. So, you know, I get it too, but I'm not complaining. I mean, I look good. Don't you think I look good? I think I look great. I think I'm killing it, honestly. I think I'm serving pretty hard. So I like the sparklies on the, it reminds me of Kill la Kill, the sparklies on the cape there. So this is a killer. I like the hat too. I like the hat too. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. Hearing Americans say that more confidently, say what more confidently? What is this what the gamers call body tea? Is this by any chance what the gamers call body tea? Yeah, one of the Kill la Kill Elite 4. Yeah. I'm in high heels. I am. She wears high heels. You have the urge to JoJo-fy me? That would be sick. I need like, you know what I really need is like the Mako. Like, you know when Mako gets her school uniform, the like 2-star one, or the 1-star one, I forget which one it is. And it's like the poncho. I need one of those really badly. That'd be so cool. So, yeah, we got this going on. Yeah, don't lose your Sclim. So yeah, that's what's going on over there. We got this beautiful, beautiful artwork, and it's my profile picture on Twitter as well right now. So we're keeping that through CarrierCon. So hopefully see some people there in March. But we got that. We got that. I've done some research. Hey, what's up, Volcano? If it isn't the Sclim for the win, I agree. I agree. I mean, in a way, it's an evolution, but really, it's just more clothes. Really, it's just more clothes. Don't lose your gains. Oh, Duntum, what kind of name is CarrierCon? No, the reason it's called CarrierCon is because it takes place on a real aircraft carrier. That's not a bit. Like it's on an aircraft carrier. We're on a giant aircraft carrier. hence the name. So you've been waiting for yours to be revealed. Yeah, I'm sure a few people in the background were like, what's Sclim's gonna be? Yeah, it's really cool. The USS Hornet, yeah. And that is the same aircraft carrier, I believe, that recovered the Apollo mission astronauts, which is pretty cool that we get to be on that and stuff and get like banners there and stuff. So it's going to be pretty sick. Hopefully they fire our guns, or they fire the guns. CV-12 USS Hornet, yeah. Hopefully they fire the guns. That'd be pretty cool. I know they do that sometimes. They did it for the Boat Goes Binted concert that Ali was in. So maybe they do that. That'd be pretty cool. Correct. The USS Hornet. No, not that. The USS Hornet. Let's get it right, Duntham. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. So, as per usual today, we're talking about whatever for a little bit, but mostly fitness, right? We're in fitness and health category, so we have to make at least a little bit of an excuse of talking about some fitness and health things as we yap about really anything. So everybody, what'd you do yesterday? What'd you get up to? What did I do? I worked all day yesterday. That's what I did. And like annoyingly, I did like health insurance and taxes stuff too. And it was really obnoxious. Oh, it was so obnoxious. It was like I gave a call to like one of the, you know, health insurance things, and they were like, there's 6 people ahead of you, and then I was on hold for an hour for 6 people ahead of me, and then the person I got, like, I could not understand at all, and on top of that, somehow the people in the background were louder than the person who was trying to talk to me. So like it must have been headsets or something. So I'd hear other people's conversations, like other agents, their conversations very clearly, but the person who was actually talking to me couldn't hear it all. It was ridiculous. I was like, what? How does that even work? Once all those tubers are on it, they might need to consider a rename. Yeah. Bogo's Binted was on a cruise ship. Oh, was it? I thought it was on the Hornet because I saw it fire. Or was that a different thing that was also on the Hornet around then? Because I saw the guns fire for the concert, for a concert. I thought that was Boko's Binted. Maybe it was another one on there. I thought it was that, though. Rogue Emerald. Yeah, thanks. I hate it. We might play in a Rogue Emerald run later today. I don't know. Maybe. Hey, Janan, your water heater broke, so the past few morning showers have been me repeating phrases. If you can tolerate joy, you can tolerate pain. Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of people who do the like cold shower thing as a fitness/health thing, where they do this whole idea of like, you know, get into a cold shower. And I get the philosophy behind it, right? The mental idea behind it is you face your hardest portion of the day right when you get up, because it's the most like suffering you're going to go through, right? Is getting in that cold shower and getting shocked by that. And so it like builds mental resiliency, and I'm sure it does, right? Because you're teaching your body to do things it doesn't want to do. I just don't think we need that level of suffering day to day. Like that's, I've tried it, I've done it, and I'm like, you know what? I really don't think it's I don't think it's worth it. I really don't think it's worth it. I'd much rather have a nice warm shower to warm myself up, or, you know, after an exercise or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't think the benefits are worth just suffering more. It's like I suffer enough, right? Counting calories and working out a bunch, and like my body's already going through plenty suffering. So I'm like, you know, I'm doing enough. We're fine. We're fine. If you've ever watched Civi from V-Fleet, you aren't wrong. Fair. Sclimbo, I did 10 minutes of yoga as prescribed by neuro for anxiety. Did one for specifically period cramps. Was nice. Yeah, keep it up, Duntum. I'm actually going to try and start doing yoga next week, because the new gym I signed up for, the fancy one I was talking about, does have yoga classes. And they're like, there's one at like Wednesday and it's later in the morning, but then there's one really early on Thursdays. But I'm like, wait a second, I could probably get my groceries and go for a walk in the woods before the yoga class on Wednesdays. Because I'm not streaming, I could probably go there right after. So I might try to do that starting next week. It would be nice. Yoga's really good. Yoga's awesome. My dad does it too. He's been doing it for a long time. So got drunk with a girlfriend and watched all of Fallout Season 2. Nice. I haven't watched any of it. I haven't watched any Fallout, but I wasn't really a big Fallout fan. I probably would enjoy it. Like, I really liked Elder Scrolls and things like that, and I played New Vegas, but I played 3 and 4 not that much. Like, I beat 4, but I didn't play much beyond that, you know? Second upper body day this week. Now I'm working on my video game. Nice. What are you working on, Roy? Vinted was on Iowa. Oh, they fired the 5-inch guns on Iowa. They can't fire the 16 guns. Okay, yeah, it was on the Iowa. All right. Gotcha. So, I don't know. Did the Hornet have, like, 5-inchers they could fire? That'd be pretty cool. It was on a ship, but it wasn't the Hornet. It was on something else, a battleship. Ah, you went to the ramen place for your birthday. Nice. I had some spaghetti. I had some, like, sad spaghetti for dinner. Let me tell you my sad brick and spaghetti recipe. So what you do is you get Barilla Protein Plus noodles, angel hair, ideally, right? And then you just boil them. And then you get the pasta, right? And it's cooked. And you just take the most sloppiest of sauces you can, the cheapest sauce you can, and just put it on top, do nothing else. It's like brickin', right? And then you just put the brickin' on top. It's like, it works, you know, it works. I'm gonna have like mac and cheese tonight, but yeah. I was in Long Beach. Oh, that would make sense. Your new boyfriend spent the whole time discussing Adobe business practices. Nice. Yeah, I just ended up working a lot yesterday. I made the whole presentation for tomorrow because everybody, as always, have been submitting their conspiracy theories for Yomi and I to review tomorrow morning, or tomorrow around this time, I should say. And so there was a lot of them. We had like 40 entries. And I think out of those 40 entries so far, I put 30 into the presentation. So I spent hours making that presentation yesterday. And I still gonna add a few more as we go for tomorrow, but it's gonna be a big one tomorrow. Definitely come by for that, for Yomi and I reviewing conspiracies. We got a lot of good ones. I'm gonna add some more. There were some I had to leave out, nothing too heinous. There were a couple that were just like a little too spicy. One in particular was just like, all right, that's not even like, that's just spicy. That's not even a conspiracy theory. And then there were some that I didn't put on either because they were too niche or they were just real. There were a few that were just real. And I don't mean like, oh, it's real. No, they were just like straight up like, no, that's just like a factual thing on Wikipedia. That's not really a conspiracy. Very cool though. Very cool, but not a conspiracy. Like one that we left off, I could say it now, but there was one that was really cool about HeLa cells, which was, I didn't know about this, but this is like a true factual thing, is I guess sometime in the 1950s, there was a lady who had cancer, and I forget what type of cancer, but they took her cancer cells and they found out that like they didn't die in a lab environment. And so they replicated them forever and we still use them to this day. So like basically this one lady's cancer cells have been cultivated over and over and over again as a cell line for like human use and stuff like that and testing for the last like 70 years. And the biomass is like insanely huge now. It was ovarian cancer. Yeah, you know that one. And that's the thing. It's like that was like really cool to learn about, but it's not really conspiracy. It's just like a medical fact. Like there's Wikipedia pages about it. So I was like, oh, we don't need to put that on, but it's really cool though. Yeah, huge contribution to health science. That's really sick. That's really sick. But at the same time, right? Not a conspiracy. We have at least 5 versions of flat Earth. So be excited for that. We got at least 5, and some of them are really, really fun. There was one where like the only thing that was linked to me was the name and a TikTok. And I watched the TikTok and I was like, oh, we have to put this on. It's so good. It's so good. So Frisbee Earth. There's mountains in the background. Chile. This is Japan. Yeah, you got it, Dave. Nah, we're in Chile. We're in Chile. Look up Henrietta Lacks for more info. Yeah. Frickin' Earth Believers. Yeah, there's a few Hollow Earth ones. My favorite one that I've seen so far is Inverse Hollow Earth, where it's Hollow Earth, but we're on the inside. I was like, oh, all right. Now we're cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Get that good stuff in there. At least they were smart enough to not completely kill the site entirely. Industry and content creator lose 10 years of animations. Yeah. That was yours, Aoto? Yeah, that was killer. No, that one's really good. That one's really good. That was a really, really strong one. Homer Simpson was right about Donut Universe. Donut Universe could be real too. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, no. So we got a lot of good submissions. I'm gonna add some more. It's gonna be a really fun stream tomorrow. And then in the morning, I'm gonna be over on Hanekeo's channel, and we're going to be talking, or we're doing a dating show. It's me. I think there's 7 or 8 VTubers in total, and I am a contestant. I'm not like the Bachelor in that one. But we're gonna be doing a Riz is Blind. It's like Love is Blind dating show. Tomorrow morning over on Hanekeo's channel. And then pretty much right after that, we're going to the Yomi Me collab in my normal time. So yeah, no, you don't follow conspiracy. So I'm just here to see what people say. Well, the idea is we're going to rank them on how cool they are, not how real they are. Like, we're not going to make a judgment call on like, yeah, this is probably real. Cause that's a lot, right? To invite a lot of discussion if we did that. And probably not the time for it. Probably not the time for it. So instead, we're just kind of doing it on a scale of like how cool we think it is conceptually. And honestly, I'm going to like, I think a lot of the ones, I like bold things, right? So I like all of the various like hollow earth, flat earth things because of how bold they are. Because they're not just like, oh, this is something that could be true that you don't know about. This is like, you need like half the world to be lying to you for this to be real. And I think that level of boldness is impressive. I'm like, no, that's fun. That's fun because it requires like everyone to be in on it. And I'm like, that's a really fun one in my opinion. So everyone's got to be in on it for that to be real. And there's like 30 prerequisite conspiracy theories. So it's like the final goal. It's like the end game of conspiracy. I think it's really fun. So there's one that says gravity is fake. Yes. Yeah. We do have gravity is fake. We have gravity is fake on there too, which I think is pretty damn incredible. Pretty damn incredible. Cause I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that mean? All right, we should talk about some stuff though, because I do have a couple topics that are fitness and nutrition based that I do want to talk about. But first, let me just check because we did get a marshmallow in. Let me see if we want to hit that quick before we talk about a few topics. Let's see. Oh, we do have a question here, so let's go there. You think I think I'm not real? I'm super real. Yeah, we can talk about all this tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, if flat Earth is real, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, what? I mean, the thing is like, I have personally circumnavigated the globe in a plane, like going one direction, right? So it would require a lot of misdirection and lies on the behalf of a lot of people for that not to have happened to me and me to be tricked. I have done it myself. So like, I can tell you that I left in one direction, and unless everything was lying, I also continued going in that direction and eventually ended back where I started. So like, I don't know. Yeah, unless I'm just the only one not in on it. I guess everyone else on the plane, the pilots, the entire airport, every GPS system, every map, I guess they're all in on it too. You know? Yeah. What even would be the advantage? I don't know. Portals? I guess portals. Yeah. I guess portals then. Grand circular flight routes. Yeah, but like I saw what I was at window seat. I saw what I went over the whole time. And then like it geographically fit the region I was supposed to be in. So... you know, but anyway, we'll talk about that all tomorrow. Let's answer a couple questions in Marshmallow and then talk about a couple topics today. I got something I call a tale of two pizzas, and we're gonna finally, I've done my analysis, the Subway protein pocket. Is it worth it? The analysis has been done. We'll talk about that a little bit, but first things first, let's take a look over here. Okay, first question of the day You've said before that adjustable dumbbells are the most important thing in getting a weight max that scales well, but I'm lost looking at all the options trying to figure out which would be good. Would you be willing to explain good things to look out for or brands you have good experience with? Thank you. Yeah, okay. So as far as adjustable dumbbells go, I think it depends on like, it does depend on how strong you are and things like that and what you're looking to do with them. I think up to 90 pounds on each hand can pretty much get you everywhere, because if you're doing 90-pound anything on one hand, you're probably pretty good, right? That's like a good weight to do even at highest levels. You could RDL with that. You could squat with that because that's 180 in both hands. You could do bench with that. You're doing a pretty crazy incline bench or regular bench with each hand being 90 with full extension. So 90 each hand adjustable is probably one of the best things. It's a lot of weight, but that will kind of ensure that you'll never need to buy another one. The nice thing about weights for the most part is like weights are pure, they're metal, right? They're just hunks of metal. So it's not like the weight's gonna go bad. Even if you get a good, like an adjustable, sure, there's some mechanical failures that could happen, but if you get a high quality adjustable dumbbell, it'll last like 15, 20 years. I've had some that have lasted like 13 or 14 and then I sold them for as much as they were worth. Because that's the other nice thing. They don't really depreciate in value because they're just hunks of metal. So like you're just going to pay the price of the hunk of metal for the most part, right? So what's nice about it is you can buy adjustable dumbbells, right? For like $500-$600. You can run them for 10 years and then sell them for $400. And that's what I did. And it's really, really efficient. So I do recommend that. Yeah, 90 in each hand, but up to 50 is good too. Just depending on like what you're trying to do. Like if you're strength training, you want 90, but you can do a lot with 50 on each hand. Other than that, I would say just be mindful of like the mechanics of them because there are different types. So I used to have these really annoying ones that were square. So like the weights were square rather than circular. And it was really annoying because it ended up getting in the way of a few lifts, right? Because the handlebars, I was in like this like indented bar in the middle of the weight basically, and it was like a box around it. And those ended up getting in the way of a lot of different lifts and kind of hitting each other at the top when I was benching and stuff like that. So just try and be cognizant of like how the grip is and how the weights are stacked, and think about the exercises you're going to be doing and if there's any conflict there, like if they're going to be knocking into each other or getting in the way, because they're generally not going to be shaped like normal weights. So just consider the grip basically. Stack iron. What if I'm a baby who can't go over 30 in each hand? Then that's fine. Just realize there's going to be some point in time, if you're training seriously, where you're going to want more than 30 in each hand, probably, right? Probably. So it's good to just kind of get it once, like buy once, cry once is the idea there, and just get something that's above where you think you're going to be, because you might be there. You might be there. Yeah, I had the square ones too. Because like a good example, right? I had for like 10, 13 years, the 90 in each hand ones. And at some point that was even like, I needed a little bit more than that. So not for every exercise, but for some. So it's like, yeah, you know, it's good to just get above what you think you're going to need, you know? You have the ones with screw-on stoppers cost you 50. Yeah, there are very cheap ones where it's just like screw on, screw off. The adjustables I tend to think about, and that's like a good, efficient way to do it. The adjustables I tend to talk about are the ones where it's like a selection, right? So it's like a stand, and you select the weight you want on like a spinning dial, and then you take them out. But that's like an expensive one. 30 in each hand start to feel too light. Exactly. And so you want to have the option, because if you don't go high, there are some adjustable dumbbells where you can buy add-ons after the fact. They're like aftermarket add-ons where you add like 20 more pounds and stuff, but not every brand is like that. I think Power Block, if I remember correctly, is a pretty well-known brand for that sort of thing. So you can look into maybe getting Power Blocks or something. I think that's what I had, but I think those are the annoying square ones. So yeah, just get above what you think you're going to need. It really will future-proof it for you, because this is ideally something you buy once and then use for like 10 or more years. So just keep that in mind. Be cognizant of that. Hopefully that answers the question. Yeah, Power Blocks are the square ones. Yeah, that's what I use. They're fine. They're not the best thing in the world. They're fine, you know? Everyone's like, yeah, they're annoying ones. Then yeah, get something else. I think I have Bowflex ones right now. And as much as Bowflex is kind of annoying, and Bowflex isn't like the best thing ever on a machine, I think the adjustable dumbbells are pretty good. I think they're pretty good. So yeah, it looks awkward. Yeah, consider they're going to be knocking into each other in square and stuff. So I'd ideally try to get something as close to normal dumbbell like mechanics as you can is what I would recommend, right? Something as close to like normal dumbbell shape as you can. Let the guilt of the $500 expense motivate you to use them. Yeah, it's just like getting a personal trainer, right? Where it's like the cost is going to also motivate you to use it, because you're like, shit, I paid all this money for a trainer. I better not quit or else I'm wasting money. That's actually a good trick. A lot of people will get a trainer just for that. just for that mental idea of like, I just need someone to keep me accountable. That's probably one of our biggest jobs. So, because obviously, if you're a good trainer, over time, people learn how to do the exercises and they learn how to eat right and they learn how to do good routines. And past a certain point, they know how to do that stuff themselves. They're just paying you for accountability. It's your job to make them do the things that they don't want to do, right? When they come in and they're tired and they're like, oh, I really don't want to. It's your job to be like, just don't. I'm going to tell you what to do. All you have to do is do it, right? It's going to suck, but that's my job. You don't have to think, turn your brain off, just do what I say, and you're gonna have a good session. That's our job past that point, basically, is to be accountability. So yeah, same concept, Kotaro. Okay, same concept. Okay, let's talk, while we wait for any other questions to come in, let's talk really quick about a couple things we've been researching today in the world of fitness. Okay, first thing first, let's talk about the Subway protein pocket. I have opinions. I took a look at it. Here's our information. I'm gonna put that on screen momentarily. I think it's really big. Wait, why did it not? Oh no, hold on. Let me reset this. Transform, reset, transform. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna put this like over here, over the Sclim meter, and we're gonna talk about it. So I'm sure people have seen in ads and stuff like that. Is it actually good? That's what we're getting to. It's interesting. Did your marshmallow not go through? I don't think it did. Why are you having that problem? It's weird. But yeah, try again. I think it worked again last time, right? After you did it once more, I think it worked. So if not, you can just put it in chat. Friend of mine finally got a personal trainer after a few years of doing it themselves. The trainer was hyped to do it with someone who could do advanced stuff. Yeah, the most fun, you have to understand, like as a trainer, the most fun we can have is somebody who's very motivated and who really wants to do high quality, like high end stuff. The least fun client are the people who don't want to do anything and will try to find excuses to get out of stuff. And people, I think a good way to determine that is, like the line I think of, like when I'm training clients, is when I tell somebody that it's time to up their weights, do they complain or are they excited? Right? That's the mindset to me. Is like, do they complain because they're like, no, it's going to be hard again? Or are they like, hell yeah, I got stronger? That's the delineation generally between like, this is a really fun client or this is someone who doesn't want to be here and I am like having to make them be here. That's usually the line where it's like, no, you should be excited that you went up in weights. You got stronger. You're reaching your goal, you know? Just saw Flabber in the wild on Reddit. Really? Oh, wild Flabber. Could you, not even just New Year's resolutioners, just like there's different people are different, right? People are different in what their motivations are. Some people are very highly motivated and you have to, in fact, there are some people where the trainer's job is to stop them from going too hard. I have a couple of clients like that. You know, a lot of clients you have to really push and the struggle is to get them to put in their max effort. Like they really will drag their feet and they really will they'll give up way too early in a set when they clearly have a lot more left in them because it starts to get hard and they don't really know where that limit is and you really have to push them and they whine about it. But then the other side of that is there are clients who are crazy people and they're insane and they will try to do way more than they should be capable of and you have to hold them back. Your job as a client then, or as a trainer then, is to be like, hey, no, not yet. Like, don't go crazy, don't hurt yourself, you want too much weight, stop, calm down, right? Yeah, charge the ones that whine more. Yeah, you tried sending it again? All right, let's see. I don't know why it doesn't let you send it. Yeah, it didn't do anything. Why doesn't it let you send Aodo, but everyone else is fine? That's so weird. I mean, you could just put it in chat too. We know it's you. We know it's you. You can just put it in chat if you want. You want to be Atlas? Yeah, that's fine. That's good, right? Motivation, the motivated people are really fun to work with. But it's my job to work with all people, right? So I don't ever complain to them about it. But like behind, not behind the scenes, but like to you guys, I'd be like, yeah, it's always more fun to train somebody who's like actually motivated. Atlas tomorrow. Oh, yeah, sorry. We don't have the time, unfortunately, unless you got like a time compressor on you. You got a hyperbolic time chamber or something. Yeah, you're not going to be Atlas tomorrow. My bad. But let's talk about these protein pockets. Okay, so you've probably seen a lot of ads for these on Twitch, probably seen them around places. Subway's doing this big push right now for new protein pockets. $3.99, claiming 20 plus grams of protein. Not a bad value proposition from the start, right? Because taking a look at this at like the base level is saying, okay, let's compare this to a protein bar. You're getting a sandwich or a wrap in this case, as opposed to a protein bar. But if you go into a gas station, some protein bars do approach $3.99. Like most protein bars, when I'll go in, they'll be 200 calories and $2.99. Metrexes are more than $4. They're like $4.50 or something like that. So, if you're on the go, Obviously, buying in bulk is going to be cheaper for anything, right? Protein, if you're getting bars in bulk, that's obviously going to be cheaper. But like, this isn't that much more of an ask than a protein bar. You know what I mean? Like price-wise, and you're getting a full wrap. So originally, I'm going into it like, hey, that's not that bad. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I looked at the options here. We got 4 options: Baja chicken, turkey and ham, Italian trio, peppercorn ranch chicken. Let's look at the macros. Okay, so obviously there's a wrong answer here for the most part, which is going to be the Italian trio. That is 490 calories, 23 grams of protein. You can make a foot long at Subway for like double this price, but you can make a foot long at Subway that's going to be like 50 grams of protein, and it's going to be that almost exact same amount of calories at around 550, 560. So like, that's not very efficient. I wouldn't recommend that one. However, looking specifically, Baja chicken and peppercorn ranch chicken, 330 calories, 24 grams of protein. Not that bad. Not that bad. That's like 100 more calories in a protein bar for a little more protein, right? Not the most efficient, but again, we're talking about a yummy warm wrap here. So price wise, I'm like, okay, macros price wise, not that bad, looking pretty good. Now, one thing I was worried about when I got one this morning, because I tested the peppercorn ranch, was I was a little worried they were going to go heavy on the sauce, right? Because 330 calories is an estimate. Always it's going to depend on like how much sauce they squirt, right? Because ranch is pretty dense calorically. So I noticed very intentionally only a tiny, tiny sliver of sauce, and only on one side of the wrap towards the front. So it's using almost like the Japanese method of sandos, right? If you've had a sando in Japan, which is like front load the yummy stuff in that bite, or when you'll see like an onigiri and there'll be like a little bit of mayo just on the top for that first bite. It's very intentional placement of the sauce, but keeping it light on calories. Smart move. I liked it. I think it worked out pretty well. So originally I was thinking like, oh, is this going to be mostly sauce and that's where the calories are coming from? But no, it's actually very little. I would say that originally I was thinking like without the sauce, because I think 80 calories is about, like, if you were to get a 6-inch at Subway and you were to put the ranch sauce in it, I think it's about 80 extra calories. So I was thinking like, oh, you could get this way less calories by getting rid of the sauce, but they put on so little, it probably doesn't matter that much. So the deceptive dessert sando, exactly. The Japanese sandwiches clickbait you. They do, but I think it's kind of intelligent because they're cheap too. And like for me, it's like 70% of the taste, right? Because like I think about the like rice balls a lot, where I'm like, okay, there's like a little bit, well, they'll put just a little bit of tuna and it's just on that first bite, but that's what's going on your taste buds, right? So it's an efficient way to use less, get less calories, but still get the taste, and it's cheaper too. So I like it. I think it's actually pretty cool. So I like these. I actually think they're pretty fine. The one thing I will say is that they're advertising a lot here for this not to be that different actually from old deals they used to run. And that was the big thing that I think is like there's no big surprise here, right? There's no big like revolution in protein technology or anything like that. Yeah, hopefully they don't turn into sad thin wraps. No, it was a regular wrap. But the thing is, Subway's been selling wraps for a long time and flatbreads for a long time. So realistically looking at this, I was like, you know what? Before the changes that they made to Subway's like menu, actually 4 months ago, this was also the exact price of the 6-inch sub of the day. And the calories aren't that different if you made intentional choices. So if I were to, last year get the 6-inch sub of the day, it would have also been $3.99. It would have also gotten me 20 to 25 grams of protein. It also would be generally under 400 calories. So this isn't actually that different. It's just like a marketing thing to make people aware that it's an option. But this is basically the old 6-inch sub of the day deal in a new package. So just be aware of that. But I think that the macros are like kind of interesting. I think it's kind of something here. I'd say, yeah, stamp of approval, especially if you're on the go, you're coming back from the gym or something like that. I would say absolute stamp of approval, yes. It's not the most efficient thing in the world, but I think the trade-offs of like, I know for me at least, in the morning, I'm thinking about breakfast or I'm thinking about post-gym. I think just like, obviously this is going to be more filling than a protein bar, right? You can pack a lot of veggies in there. You get some tomatoes in there. You get some yummy sauce. It's warm, right? There's some cheese. You're not like losing out on cheese. It's like, I think this is a better value proposition overall. It's like the Bricken model. right? It's the same idea as the Bricken model, where it's like, this is not the most efficient thing, but if you consider price and taste and ease of access, you're not going to get a sandwich that has this amount of protein for this cheap pretty much anywhere else. Like, there might be some fringe deals you can get at Taco Bell for like protein menu stuff, or McDonald's for protein menu stuff, but for the most part, this is going to be a lot better, and nothing else really hits this price point as far as fast food's concerned in my area. So I think it's solid. Yeah, stamp of approval. Peppercorn Ranch sounds good. No, it was good. It was really good. And I think all of these are going to be good. I'm a Subway enjoyer. Obviously, people like to hate on Subway. I think Subway's low quality. I agree with that. I just like it. I'm biased. I grew up on it. It tastes good to me. I know people joke about that thing in Ireland where they're like, oh, the bread's actually considered cake because of the sugar content. It's not actually that much sugar content in the bread. Like, it's not... Objectively, it's one of those weird classification things, the same way they classify like any meat as a carcinogen on the like the UN food scale index. So it doesn't actually matter. Like, it's fine. It's bread. It's whatever, you know. Which one tastes the best? I mean, definitely Italian trio, but it's not worth the calories. I would say, I mean, I went for peppercorn ranch because I think that tastes the best. But although provolone, honey mustard, and turkey's pretty good. That is pretty good. So are they hard locked to those ingredients? Or are they customizable? I imagine they're more hard locked because this is like a menu item, not like a 6-inch sub that you can make your own way. 6-inch ones here are like 8.3. Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, because like this isn't that different. This is not that different at all from the normal 6-inch price that existed like last year. This comes out like after tax to be like $4 and like 20 something cents. Hey, what's up, going? Tried combining Gamer Supps and creatine to Ninja Creamy it. Ooh, but if it's just water, all sorts of separates out. Yeah, try it with like almond milk or oat milk. Give it a shot with that. But that's a good idea. I like what you're cooking here. Oh, I did try the Gamerade Blue version finally because I ran out of lemon lime. That, yep, tastes like blue. Tastes very much like blue. Very much like blue. You gonna try it today after hitting back? Yeah, let me know what you think. I think it's a pretty solid choice. I'm gonna try the other ones as we get a few days on here. In fact, maybe I'll like order all of them on Saturday. I could order the other 3 and that'd be like half my calories for the day. That could be cool. First time I had Subway was someone else buying it for me, some kind of turkey sub with gravy. Oh, that was probably like a seasonal Thanksgiving item. Sandwiches are $14 footlongs. Oh, yeah, no. Footlongs where I'm at are like $10 now. But there's so many deals. Like if I open up my Subway app right now, just to put it out there, and I will answer your question, Aodo. I didn't miss that. But I just wanted to finish up this topic. So if I were to look at my Subway app right now, I actually think the Subway app, and I'm not sponsored, I think the Subway app has some really good deals if you want price efficiency fast food. Obviously, McDonald's and Taco Bell still kill it as far as price goes. Like the value menus are kind of crazy at those restaurants. I would argue they're the only true value menus left. However, for protein, for calories, for efficiency, the Subway app, right? Right now, I'm looking at get any footlong for $6.99, 20% off any sub wrap or salad bowl, and another get a footlong sub for $6.99. Those are 3 different coupons I have just today, right? They also have a promotion where every time you buy a footlong, you eventually get 1 for free. Every 4 footlongs, you get 1 for free, and it stacks with these coupons. So I'm at 2 right now. So I can get 2 footlongs for $6.99 and then get a free one. So that's effectively 3 footlongs in total for $14. I think the deals are good. I think they're really good if you consider like I want a snack, so on and so forth. Hey, what's up, Phoebe? Stop influencing me. Yeah, no, they should sponsor because I think it's solid. I think it's solid, but check Reddit for coupon list. Yeah, it's a good combo. So I think their current thing they're running is actually pretty solid. I think there's like Subway Cash on top of that, but damn, look at the app. No, if you eat Subway a lot, it's super worth it. I was not an app getter until like months ago, but it's super worth it because they give you coupons all the time, and it's definitely like an AI thing. Like it's definitely like they see if you use them or not, because there are plenty of times I'll get a coupon that's like you have to use it today, and then I just don't use it because I'm like, no, I won't be influenced, and I get a better coupon the next day. So you just gotta hold out sometimes. You get some bangers. Only buy a footlong if you have a coupon, and then you'll get a free one every 4, and you end up getting a $5 footlong in the end effectively. They're still around if you know how to scheme. If you're like Ed, right, from Ed, and Eddie, or Eddie, like from Ed and Eddie, you're doing some jawbreaker schemes. That's me with my sandwich maxing. There's one within walking distance. Nice. How do you just survive the veggies on the sandwich if you hate them? I'm okay with some veggies on sandwiches. So usually just lettuce and onion, because I do like onions and I'm fine with lettuce. I usually will take tomato off. I like banana peppers a little bit. I like peppers sometimes. So it really depends. Yeah, 25-cent jawbreakers. One time, I never had a jawbreaker. I wasn't really a big fan of like really just sugar candy, but I went on a trip and I had a friend and we were really like Ed and Eddie pilled, and he bought so many jawbreakers that he went into a sugar coma. Like not actual coma, but he ate so much sugar that he was just laid up for 2 days like, oh, my stomach. And so that was my experience with the jawbreakers. Most of them are sandwich ruining. I get that. Yeah, if you're not a veggie enjoyer. I take most of them off. Like my go-to protein efficiency sandwich and calorie efficiency sandwich is to just straight up get rotisserie chicken, just put onions and lettuce on it and hit it with vinegar. No cheese, no extra sauces. It's like 540 calories and like 50 grams of protein. But the idea is more so just if I only have 540 calories and I want to have a really big volume meal, that's one way I'll do it. Man dinner, exactly. We call it gobstoppers in the UK. You eat the salad wrap? Yeah, I will say, don't sleep on the flatbreads at Subway either. The flatbreads are way lower in calories. And you can, I think they're pretty good. But chicken's so versatile, yeah. Just keep in mind, you probably shouldn't be having this stuff every day. Like, it does still carry the same dangers that processed meats generally carry, with like relative risk increase of like colorectal cancer and things like that. So like, don't be eating highly processed meats every single day, but you're probably fine to eat this every once in a while. So, and I am a Subway enjoyer. Let me answer Ayoto's question, and then I want to move on to another topic talking about efficiency that I called a tale of two pizzas. But also, hi, Yalero, welcome in. Wish they still had tortillas instead of using the flatbread. I never saw tortillas. Oh, you mean tortilla wraps? I think these are tortilla wraps. Like, these are very much wraps. Let's see, Ayoto's question. You've maxed out the seated leg press of the gym, 10 reps per minute for 5 minutes. Wait, hold on, 10 reps per minute for 5 minutes. What should be my next step? Should I do one leg at a time? What I would say, Ayoto, is I would ask if you've truly maxed out the seated leg press. And because there are so many times I see this, and this is just my word of caution, right? I have trepidation when people tell me that they've maxed out the seated leg press, because I'm like, are you really, or are you just moving a lot of weight a little bit? And I'm not accusing you of anything, but my point is if your legs are not in your chest at the bottom of that movement, you have not maxed it out yet. I want to see, when I see people doing seated leg press, I want people to be literally, their knees are in their ears, right? In terms of depth. I want to see their knees next to their ears in that deep, deep, deep hole in the seated leg press, and then coming up and doing that for reps with rest in between. Then I think you can quote unquote max it out. I think that only then. Like people doing half reps and quarter reps, even just a parallel, that's like not what the leg press machine is for. It's for going even deeper than that safely. So take advantage of that, what I would recommend. But if you're already there, then yeah, you could do one leg at a time. I would say just do normal squats at that point though, with a bar. That'd be my recommendation, honestly. So what is that the bottom of the movement when totally at rest, or bottom when I start to push? Well, you shouldn't be at rest at any point during the motion, right? I guess like technically you're at rest if you're like pushed up into your, knees, right? If they're in your ears, you can't really go any deeper than that. So you're technically at rest, but there's still like, tension on you. So there really should be no rest at any point in the leg press. So it would be my recommendation. So like to get a rotisserie the next day, use the leftovers and eat mac and cheese. Yeah, Varn, that's efficient. That's a good way to do it. Leftover. I mean, that's what I do with brick effectively, right? So birthing position. Once your legs over your head. Exactly. Gym rat and I want you to be in birthing position. Okay. Machine has like a startup with no resistance. Interesting. How does that work? Is it like, how does that work on a leg press? Is it like on a piston based system, or is it plate loaded? Maybe we're talking about two different things here. Yeah, how does that work? I'm assuming it's a plate loaded thing, like most leg presses are. But if it's like piston based, maybe that's different. I don't know. That's I'd have to like take a look at what the machine is exactly, but it's non-plate loaded. Oh, weird. Is it like is it a weight stack? It's a cable. Is it a weight stack on a cable? Like, do you selectorize, like, is it a selectorized machine where you select the weight? Or I might not know what you're describing. You have to send me a picture, Ayoto. I want you in birthing position. Yeah, welcome back, Mew. There's no way I get my knees so far up. You turn into a pretzel. That's the idea, Belfry. You got to turn into a big pretzel. Yeah, weight stack. Okay, yeah. Just make sure you're going to full depth. I don't know why there's no startup. Maybe there's some slack, you said. What I would do is, if there's slack, can you move the seat closer to the push, like the platform, so that there isn't slack when you're actually, like, you start with no slack. Is there a way to move it up so you could do that? Because hold on, let me grab a picture. I want to show you guys what I mean exactly. So let me get leg press full depth. I want to show you a picture of what I mean, because I've heard many times people will come and talk about their leg press, how they leg press 1,000 pounds and stuff. And I'm like, you probably don't. You're probably just not as deep as you should be. It is most likely what's happening in those. So let me find like a good picture of what I mean when I say like, I want that shit to be like deep when you're doing leg press, and only then, right? Let's see a good example. Here's a pretty good example. So obviously like this is maybe not. Let me find like a good depth here I can use as reference. It's hard to find actually a picture of like what I want to see in many cases, because a lot of people don't do it. I'll show you what I don't think is enough, right? Like I'll show you an image of like what I don't think is enough. Let me find an image of that. Oh, there's a lot of not pictures at depth here. Okay, this is like pretty good, right? Actually, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. So I want, when I'm saying like, you know, put that shit in your ears, obviously metaphorically, but what I'm talking about is more like this. I want to see generally if someone's doing like a leg press. Where did I save that to? God, is that like a WebP file? I'm gonna freak out. It still shows. Yeah, okay, so here's a good example. Like, look how deep this guy is. This is what I want to see in the leg press. Nothing above this. Like, have your knees touching your chest, basically. And until that's the case, I don't want people to say they've maxed it out. This is usually for plate-loaded machines, though. Yours is definitely different, Iota, if it's cables. Definitely different. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. Where it's like, no, get in there. Get in the hole. Get deep. Speaks the good stuff. You can max it and I start squatting. Exactly, yeah. The image on the machine is a lie. Yeah, I can do that. I'll do that in my next run. Yeah, most honestly, do not trust fitness machines, especially like cable ones, to show you proper form, because they're often wrong. They're often very wrong, actually. There's quite a few that I'll like take a look at and be like, that's just not deep enough. Or my biggest one is I'm very disappointed with overhead press machines for the most part. Most of the overhead press machines I look at tend to show you doing an incline bench instead. And I'm like, that's cool, but that's not an overhead press. Like, they'll have you absolutely at a 45-degree angle instead of above your head and like through the window. And it's just like, that's weird. That's a different exercise. So, all right, some more marshmallows coming in. So before we talk about the pizza thing, which is just a general fitness advice thing, let me answer these questions. So I probably want to be back in the middle for this. Okay, let's see. What new questions do we have? We had a couple come in here. Let's see. Next question. Thoughts on pre-workout? Normally don't use it. Lately been gifted some. Feel like it does nothing for me, but curious if it's beneficial. If pre-workout does nothing for you, I mean, either it's a lie of a product or you drink a lot of caffeine. So the thing about pre-workout is, for the most part, pre-workout's effect comes from taurine and caffeine. They're effectively just energy drinks in powder form, right? So usually they'll be 200 milligrams for pre-workout. It's about 200 milligrams of caffeine. So like, yeah, if that does nothing for you, you might just have a really high caffeine tolerance from using it a lot. But just keep in mind, I think pre-workout these days is fairly safe. Didn't used to be. Back when I first started, there was like meth in this stuff, and they had to recall it because there was literally synthetic meth in pre-workout, and it'd like blow your heart up and kill you. That was like a problem when I started lifting. That was a real thing. So I never touched the stuff because that's when I started, right? So biased because it's been a while. But nowadays, I think they are pretty safe. Yeah, look up original formula Jack 3D. All free. If you want to see, basically what they did is they made synthetic meth and got around like drug limitations until people realized it was synthetic meth. And then the FDA asked them to recall it. So they were like, hey, pre-workout brands, can you recall this meth that you're selling on the shelves? And then everyone was like, yeah, you got us, except for Jack 3D. That was like, no, make us. They were like, no, make me. And then they had to be made too, because it was meth. The meth, yeah, cocaine and Coca-Cola, meth and workout juice. Yeah, but the thing was, that was like not that long ago. That was like 2010 until like 2013. Like, you can still buy it on eBay. Hey, Awesome Night, welcome in. So drink your coffee every morning. That's about it. Maybe I didn't get a strong run. Could be. And you should be able to check the caffeine content on the side, and it'll tell you exactly what's in it. But these days, I do think pre-workout for the most part is pretty safe, especially if you're going for a reputable brand. Just keep in mind that this is counting towards your caffeine limit for the day. So if you also have coffee, also have an energy drink, that can stack really fast, really poorly. I never use it. You don't need it, that's for sure. But I think it is useful. I think there's absolutely good times to use it. 300-gram caffeine pre-workout, then several large cups. Yeah, that's over the limit, Roy. 400's the recommended limit for adults. So, and the thing about caffeine too, and I really need to impress this upon people because I say it a lot, is caffeine is something that you develop a tolerance to, right? So you use 300 regularly and it's going to feel like nothing. And then you have to use 400 and then it's going to feel like nothing. But if you were to cycle off caffeine and you were to go back to baseline, then suddenly 100 would feel like you're taking 700. So it's good to cycle caffeine every once in a while so you're not hitting these super doses constantly. You definitely don't need them. You definitely don't need them. But they are good for you in low doses long term, I'd argue. Caffeines. That's our version of the Coca-Cola fair. You need to buy something on eBay really quick? Yeah. No, the US does have some weird stuff. And the reason why is because FDA does not regulate the supplements in any meaningful way. So the FDA doesn't test every supplement and verify that like everything's there in the doses that they claim and stuff like that. And or I should say they don't verify the claims on supplements. So like sometimes supplements can get away with a lot of weird things. Hey, old man, welcome in. It says 500 milligrams. Wait, what pre-workout is 500 milligrams? Is that like the Joker I am fucked up? That's like the only brand I know of that has that much. That's rough. Yeah, maybe don't do that. Maybe don't have that actually. If something has 500 milligrams in it, just don't take it. Or take like a half scoop or something, right? Like cut the dose. I wouldn't want to have over 200 for a pre-workout. That's way more than Bang. Bang's only 300. Bang's only 300. What about you need to wake up at 4 in the morning, get to work at 5, then you go to bed early. That's what you do, Awesome Night. You wake up, you go to bed at 9. That's what you do. You go to bed at 9 or 8. That's what you do. And you don't lean on that caffeine in those high doses. Or again, you go to bed at 9 or 8 p.m. and then you only have 100 milligrams in the morning, but you don't let yourself go above that. And every once in a while you cycle it out. So, you know, the thing is you'll get used to caffeine. You'll gain a tolerance like generally within a month, right? So what you do is just enjoy caffeine feeling really good for 2 to 3 weeks and then stop for a couple weeks and then do it again. And then stop for a couple weeks and do it again. And you'll pretty much always not be in withdrawal to the point where it matters. You'll be tired for a week. Like here and there, it'll be a little eepy, but then you'll have like 3 weeks of feeling really good. So pre-banning Bang, did they? Oh, the original? Because I've had like regular Bangs. The comp would be burned to the ground. Yeah, no, we don't regulate supplements the same way. So you have to be careful with supplements because there's a lot of claims on the packaging that are just lies. Like when you walk into a GNC and everything there says it's going to boost your testosterone. Yeah, that's a lie. That's just not true. It's the same vibe as like when you go to Japan and you see like, what is it? Oh, what's it called? It's not Strong Zero. No, what's the vitamin C drink that everybody has in Japan? Is it Pocari Sweat? No, there's something else. High C. No, is it High C? Lemon CC? Is it Lemon CC? I think it's Lemon CC. Where like, if you look at a Lemon CC, it'll claim that it has the amount of vitamin C as 500 lemons. And it's like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's not true. So yeah, there's a lot of wacky stuff out there like that. So just keep in mind that you don't need much. Supplements are like outside of vitamins that are different than supplements. Supplements is a game where you don't actually have to spend a lot of money. And you don't need almost anything that's on the shelves when it comes to supplements. If you're eating a balanced diet and you're sleeping well and you're otherwise optimized and you don't have any deficiencies, you can get most things from food. I think multivitamins and like supplements that supplement vitamins are good just in case you don't get that from food or the absorption's not perfect because of various things in the body. So I think those are good, right? Always recommend that. My point is you don't need to walk into GNC and buy 30 things to start lifting. Is what I mean, right? You don't have to go get like testosterone booster and super creatine and all that stuff and pre-workout. You could just go lift. I will say Arnold Schwarzenegger has been saying some bangers on Twitter in the last month or so that are advice bangers that are just really good. Arnold's got the right mindset. Always has, I think. So he's been, if you want some more heat, some more takes, go check out Arnold on Twitter. He's been killing it recently. Had to get Pocari Sweat special order because I couldn't shake the bug. That's so fair. But all those testosterone boosters played during pro wrestling shows wouldn't lie to me. Yeah, super male vitality. None of it would lie, right? Pocari Sweat is really good. But yeah, also don't have gas station Kratom. Don't do that either. All right. That's just a drug. That's just a hard drug. Don't go to the gas station in the US and get Kratom. Don't do that. All right, more questions coming in. Do you think it's safe for someone with one kidney to use creatine supplements? Ooh, that's a question for a doctor and not for me. I'm not really qualified to answer that, unfortunately, but I've heard, I might be very wrong about this, but I've heard something about, like, doesn't one kidney end up like being as efficient as two kidneys, so they're kind of redundant or something? Isn't there something about that where it's like, oh, one ends up being like redundant, so if you only have one, you could still do everything you did if you had two, and it's fine, you just have like one less kidney? I don't know, but I've heard something like that before. Can I replace pre-workout with gas station boner pills? Good question, Nuna. Please don't. They are cool though. But yeah, you'd have to ask a doctor about this one. You'd have to ask a doctor about this one. That's a little outside me being comfortable answering that one, but just check with a doctor first. I feel like if somebody with like, people get transplants, just get an extra one, so they end up with 3. Huh. You'd rather have 2 kidneys? Yeah, I'd rather have 2 as well, but yeah, I'm not willing to say. I feel like not professional opinion, I feel like it's probably fine, but I would get that cleared first. I wouldn't say that as an official answer, but like, just if I was a lay person and you asked me and I didn't have any degrees or anything, I'd be like, I think that's fine. But I would recommend you ask somebody first. From what I know from biology, humans can survive on 1 kidney, but they do have to watch what they consume. Yeah, you can live with 1, but 2 is good for a backup. Yeah, I've always thought about it as a backup. So, but I'm not 100% on that one. Sorry, I couldn't help there. It's just I'm not qualified to talk about like medical stuff, you know, just fitness, general nutrition stuff. So my wrists are really skinny and it makes it hard to wear bracelets and watches. It gets annoying when people say, oh, your wrists are so thin. Me too, honestly. And then they do the thing where they wrap their fingers around your wrist. Yep, they do that to me too. How do I thicken them up? Wrist curls or something? Yeah, wrist curls. You got it. You answered your own question here. You got to do some wrist curls. And probably you have to bulk up, most likely too. So obviously there's some bone structure stuff there that's just going to be a reality, unfortunately. Like, I have really tiny hands, so my wrists are just proportionally, you know, proper for that. Like, my wrists are thick for my hand size, but I have tiny hands, right? So objectively, my wrists are not thick. Like, people can absolutely wrap around my wrists. But yeah, you got to do like wrist curls and stuff like that. Absolutely. You do hammer curls. Some things help, like overhead press, things like that. And you just gotta, if you wanted just thicker in general, you'd bulk up for that, right? So you'd eat a slight surplus, get your protein, and gain some muscle, and that'll help. But like, there's some genetic realities about wrist size, that's for sure. That's for sure. Heard it's not as bad on the kidneys from recent studies. Yeah, I mean, creatine's not bad on the kidneys. Like, if you're healthy, creatine's totally fine to have. Long term, it's totally safe on kidneys. It's just like, if you have kidney disease already, or if you have 1 kidney, I don't know. I know kidney disease, you're recommended generally to not have creatine, but I don't know about 1 healthy kidney. That's like a different question, but it should be fine. I'm just not a doctor. You could tell by him never diagnosing people with fat or woman. Yeah, wait, do doctors do that? No, I don't know. What I will say is doctors are great. Like, definitely listen to your doctors, but I do think it's important to remember that a dietitian, and I am not a dietitian, that's different, right? That is a 4-year degree with its own licensing system. I am not that. But I think it's important to remember there's a reason why dietitian's a specialty. Doctors are good at what they do, but they don't know the most about nutrition. There are many doctors who have said wrong things about overall nutrition and have recommended incorrect things that I've run into throughout the years. Like, a dietitian definitely will take precedence over a doctor when it comes for food health, right? That's their job. That's their specialty. So definitely just you know, verify if you can. So that's why it's good sometimes to have multiple specialists, right? Just like you'd go to a skin specialist or a foot specialist or a, you know, ear, nose, and throat specialist. You'd go to a diet specialist when you talk about nutrition. Over general doctor, right? So just keep that in mind. I know someone who could have had their kidney disease diagnosed 10 years earlier if they weren't a woman because 1 stat was off. Oh yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff like that. Yeah, I've heard of such things before. I've heard of such things. I'm very blessed to have a sports medicine doctor who like knows what's up. So I can come to him with like a spreadsheet and be like, hey, so this is going on. I'm eating this and doing this. Like, what's up, you know? And we do it together because we, you know, he knows I know stuff. So yeah, but yeah, you kind of got it right there. You answered your own question for the most part. That is probably what you want to focus on. And then maybe bulk up a little bit if you do want to add a little bit of thickness, you know? There's a weird guy at the metro station who claims to be a foot specialist. Oh yeah, no, you can let him look at your foot. That's a good idea. You should trust them. You should definitely trust them. I thought you were about to refer to the dong as a sports attachment. I mean, it is in a way, right? It's like a cardio. It's a piece of cardio equipment. You could probably write it off on your taxes if you think about it. Good doctors are such a precious resource. Yeah. But it's also just important to remember that a good doctor, like, don't expect the doctor to know everything about everything, right? It's hard to know everything about everything. So that's what specialists exist for. So if you are having a problem that is dietary, most likely your doctor will refer you to a dietitian, and you should get referred to a dietitian. So one time your doctor said you had nice feet. Oh, nice. No, I have a special ability that scares doctors when they give me physicals, but I have a special technique that I didn't know was unique. I didn't know everyone couldn't do this. But I do have a special technique that freaks doctors out at physicals. So that's all I'll say about that. Same thing with physical therapists and doctors. I learned to walk properly when I was 28. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And whatever you do, and I will say just a general thing, whatever you do when you're looking online on twitter.com and you see all these crazy nutrition takes, right, from doctors, don't listen to chiropractors. Don't listen to chiropractors when it comes to nutrition. I think that rule alone will keep you safe. Will keep you safe for the most part on twitter.com. The amount of times you can go on Twitter and see like this like really like controversial health take, right? Where it'll be about nutrition and it'll be like, you know, this is what they don't want you to know. And they're talking about like a food that's really bad for you or some superfood. And it's from a doctor, right? You go to that doctor's profile or look him up on Google, chiropractor every single time. I get compliments on my veins every time. Yeah, me too. I'm like, take your pick. I'll put out both arms. I'll be like, take your pick, because my veins are very noticeable. They're huge. You can't miss them. Yeah, chiropractors are not real medical professionals. They're chiropractic professionals, which is different, but that's not, they have no qualification to be talking about nutrition. That's for sure. That's for damn sure, right? Yeah, things that aren't controlled terms. Well, the thing is, it is a controlled term, but doctor alone is a doctorate, right? Just a doctorate. So you could be a doctor and say something, but you could have a doctorate in history, right? That doesn't mean you're a medical doctor. There's a difference there. So I would say that if you want to be very safe, just make sure that if somebody's talking about a nutrition thing online, right? And they're a doctor, if they're a registered dietitian, that's great. They probably know what they're talking about. Like, you can verify it on your own, of course, with various studies on PubMed and things like that. But just be aware, because I saw some yesterday on Twitter from a doctor I'm intimately familiar with, who has a lot of nutrition takes that have been debunked over and over and over again, and said doctor is a chiropractor. No names being said, but I did see that again yesterday and groaned with a big, oh brother, you know. No, there have been some insane Twitter takes that have come across my timeline recently. Insane nutrition Twitter takes that are just like, what are you talking about, dude? We need to mark chiropractors like the Twitter check mark. Yeah. No, chiropractors, like, I don't know. So I think chiropractic as a whole, it's tough because I do think there is some bunk there for sure, right? Like, I don't trust chiropractic just like at face value, but I have had chiropractors help me personally. I've had personal experience and like personal anecdotes that chiropractic has helped me. I had an injury once and I did everything I could on my own for months and it never got any better. And then within 2 weeks of going to a chiropractor, it started getting better. So I was like, yeah, like, I think if you go to a reputable one, it might help in certain cases, but I'm not willing to say it's completely bunk science or that it's completely valid, you know? That's like completely the most valid thing for medical intervention. Definitely for therapy, you can do something. But my uncle had to change his title from doctor to professor because he got called to help on a plane. He does political science. Yeah. So many YouTube shorts ripping on these health influencers and supposed nutritionists, claiming everything in the store is fake and poison while pushing their sponsored stuff. Yeah, Starfire. And that's like a big problem, right? Because nutritionist, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but nutritionist isn't a regulated term in many places like dietitian is. So like I, for example, would be a nutritionist. I am not a dietitian. I don't have a 4-year degree in that, right? But I could be considered a nutritionist, and that's kind of how I bill myself and stuff like that, because this is something I do have a license in, and for at least general population stuff, I took a, you know, like a certification course, you could say, right? But not a degree, and it's something I research heavily and is like a hyperfixation of mine. So, but I don't claim to supersede a dietitian ever, and I always tell you, like, please do your own research and stuff like that. Like, don't just take what I say at face value. But I am willing to back up everything I say. Let me take a drink. Chiropractors are real, but it's surprisingly easy to get into, so it attracts less scrupulous people. Yeah, I've had like chiropractic help me, but yeah, you crave the protein fountain. It was not Flork. It was not Flork. But yeah, just be careful, right? Here's the thing, right? I think what's most likely is like, if there's a health influencer going around trying to alarm you about anything, they're probably blowing it out of proportion. Like, we're pretty good, we're learning a lot, and everything's like pretty okay. There's some high level debates, absolutely, about certain things being like more optimal or less optimal, but what we know is that things in the grocery store are not going to kill you, okay? They're not going to be sold if they're going to kill you. If we had data that said this kills you definitively, it'd be banned, most likely. Like, we're not that far gone, right? So anyone walking into a store and being like, this is poison. No, it's not. No, it's not. Maybe it's not the healthiest thing in the universe, but it's not going to appreciably lower your lifespan or quality of life if you have it every once in a while, no matter what it is. Maybe pink sauce will. Maybe pink sauce will. It depends what's in the pink sauce, right? There's various pink sauces. But yeah, just generally, if someone's walking through a grocery store and they're like, this will kill you. No, it's not. No, it's not going to kill you. There's no data to support that. So just, you know, assume that it's being blown out of proportion for the most part, because at the real high end, it's like most debate is nuanced at the high end, where it's like we're arguing like minor long-term potential health effects at this point, not like suddenly discovering this compound that everyone uses kills you on the spot, right? We're past that point for the most part. So telling me Tylenol won't give me autism. So eating rat poison, yeah, except for rat poison. Don't eat rat poison. All right, I have to go to ad break because we want to disable pre-rolls. I will be right back in 4 minutes. Everyone get a snack, go to the bathroom, get a little stretch, and then we're going to talk about pizza and answer a couple more questions. I have a cool little fitness tip for you regarding frozen pizza, but really just treats in general. Really just treats in general, I would say. All right, be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with it. Let's keep yapping. We do have another question here. Let's see, another marshmallow coming in. Besides protein quantity, are there other factors I should take into account when I'm choosing a protein supplement? Hey, Jay, what was that song? Well, we have a command for that now. Check it out. Bada boom, bada bing. I beat you, Varn. I beat you to it. Ah. All right, yeah. So, yeah, I was a little fast on that one. A little quick draw action going on. So, all right, question. Besides protein quantity, are there other factors I should take into account when I'm choosing protein supplement? Yeah, I mean, besides taste and price, obviously, you should look into bricking. No, I'm joking. But like, you know, that does matter, right? Look into if it's efficient for you compared to actually just getting food. Because for the most part, if you need to be like on the go, it's a different story. But I generally recommend, like, you don't need protein supplements unless you need protein supplements. So we do have a tendency, and I think a lot of people do, whenever they get into fitness, to just immediately go to this idea of like, oh, let me go get protein powder. But it's like, you don't need to do that. If you like eating regular food, you can absolutely get all your protein from regular food. I do. I have for years. I rarely use protein powders. But if you are looking for supplement for like on the go reasons or shake reasons because you're busy, then yeah, just consider the price efficiency. Some are very, very expensive while some are cheaper. But also, you know, besides the quantity, you want to look at the quality, right? So you don't want like a mysterious brand that has no data on it or studies whatsoever on if it's like actually the protein it claims. Remember, just recently, I got sent this like 5 times. There was a protein powder company that was selling cake mix and lying about what was in there on their nutrition facts. I don't know what that grift was, but it worked for quite a while. So, you know, go for a brand that's been around for a little bit and you've seen in stores and stuff. For the most part, things in stores are going to be fair. Hey, Rick, welcome in. What's going on? So, what's going on? Yeah, no, I forgot what the brand was called, but that was a thing that happened like last month. So, you know, Gold Standard's good. I like Ghost. I think their flavors taste really, really good. So Ghost brand I really, really like. Quest obviously has been tested, so we know Quest has the protein it claims. Other than that, what you're looking for also is what type of protein is it, right? So most plant-based protein powders these days are complete protein. So they're going to either be pea protein or soy protein or combine various proteins to get complete protein. But you also have to consider the difference between whey and casein. So both are complete proteins. Both are really, really good and efficient for you. Casein protein, the benefit of it is it's a little slower release, a little slower digestion. So it might spike your muscle protein synthesis theoretically for a little bit longer. So like casein based powder would be better to have right before bed because it might theoretically raise your muscle protein synthesis for a little longer throughout the night before it drops off, which could, in very niche cases, be helpful. So that's one thing to consider. Is it whey? Is it casein? What is the base of it? Other than that, most of them are going to be complete protein. I think the vegan ones taste bad. That's just my opinion. I think they just taste really bad. But also consider flavors, right? So something I was talking about last night on Nello's show is think about how fake you want your flavor to be, right? So chocolate and vanilla, 2 great examples of, you know, a very common flavor. Everybody has that flavor, right? And then we'll take something like cinnamon and peanut butter in there as well. Obviously, it's hard to make something taste like peanut butter without putting peanut butter in it, because primarily peanut butter's taste comes from its fat content, right? But on the other hand, cinnamon has negligible calories. So you can just put real cinnamon in your protein powder, right? So think about like what the flavor is and if that makes sense, because some things are going to be more calorically dense and thus harder to reach that flavor profile, so they might taste bad. So sawdust bread, yeah, sawdust is a fiber supplement. Huel Black for protein, but they use plant-based. Yeah, it's fine if you like it. I just don't think they taste very good. It keeps you full for longer because of that, right? I mean, theoretically, yes, it would. I haven't like specifically, you know, looked at that, but like logic, yeah, it would, right? If it's slower to metabolize and slower to digest, it theoretically would. Protein in general will keep you fuller for longer, though, compared to carbohydrates and fats, though. So, is pre-workout necessary for that good fat burn during exercise? No, absolutely not, Lap. You don't need it at all. You don't need to spend that money. I've worked out without pre-workout for my entire life, literally my entire life. It's basically an energy drink. The only time where something like that might be useful is, I believe, like beta-alanine, which is in a lot of pre-workouts and gives you that tingly feeling. That can be good for endurance exercises, but we're talking at that point sessions above like an hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours straight. So it's good for distance running, but it might not do much in a regular weightlifting. besides make you feel a little tingly and, you know, get your heart rate up and stuff like that. So yeah, you do not need pre-workout. In fact, I'd recommend, I just think it's better for people not to take stuff and spend their money for the most part if they can get away with it. So like, I'm almost like, you know, if you want to try pre-workout, that's great. But you could do the same thing with like a regular supplement or with caffeine in it or coffee or stuff. You don't really need a like purpose designed pre-workout formula over having like a banana and an energy drink, right? Or a banana and some coffee, or a banana and gamer subs. Like, you don't need pure pre-workout compared to that. They're not that different. They're not that different to the point where you need to spend more, you know? I see a lot of people stack like 30 different things. It's like, you don't need all that. They're kind of doing the same thing. Cinnamon maxing. Yeah, cinnamon's great. Cinnamon's great. Cinnamon is OP. But the only reason I say that is like, there's a lot of protein powders that are like Cinnabon. Like, I know Ghost has Cinnabon flavor. I know Rise has a cinnamon flavor too. And it's like, yeah, they can put real cinnamon in that. So it's great. Yeah, your pre-workout's a monster. Exactly. Like, and that's like, that'll work. Like, the best thing you can do pre-workout is just have some carbs in you, and then caffeine helps, right? Like, those are two things we know work. We know caffeine works, and we know carbohydrates give you energy. So if you have those two things in any form, doesn't matter. That's going to set you up for success when it comes to lifting. Plus hydration. That's a big one. A lot of people don't hydrate enough before lifting, especially you early morning lifters. I want you drinking like, go drink like a quart of water or like a whole, what's a liter of water or something before you go to the gym. If you wake up and go right to the gym, just like slam water the first thing you do when you get up. Really, everyone should do that because you start off dehydrated and you don't want to start out the day dehydrated. So bring back the cinnamon challenge disguised as fitness. Yeah. Able to shoulder press 135 for 8. Nice. That's a good PB. That's a sick PB. Nice job. That's awesome. Get back into lifting after taking a break. Any way to speedrun muscle soreness from resuming? Nope. It'll go away, but you're just going to have to get it. You're just going to have to deal with it. You're just going to have to deal with it. I'm going through it right now too. I just went ahead and, oh, Yomi. Wait, Yomi gifted you tier. Oh, Ayoto gifted me to Yomi. Oh, thank you, Ayoto. I got the notification. Thanks for the gifted for me to Yomi. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, eat banana, right? Get your rest, get your potassium, get your protein. That'll help. Stretch rather than stay sedentary after you're lifting. That one, I can't tell you how much that matters. Please. The most people the people I know who are in the most pain post-workout when they're getting into it are the people who will go do a heavy lifting session and then sit down for 8 hours and not move. It's like, that's the worst idea ever. He's talking you up right now, so I figured, aw, Yomi. Aw, shucks. I didn't know Yomi was live right now. I thought Yomi went live a little later. Is it early today, or am I just wrong about that? Or is it later than I thought? Yomi, thanks for the shout out. Let me give a shout out to Yomi too. Let me give her a reverse shout out. Hold on. Shout out Yomi Quinley, because we are working together tomorrow on my stream. So shout out to Yomers as well. Shout out Wars Begun. But yeah. So what was I saying? Just like, you know, just lock in a little bit. It'll go away pretty fast, but I'm dealing with the same thing right now because I've rejoined a gym. So I have access to more equipment than just my gym. So I'm, you know, feeling things I haven't felt for a while. So just, you know, it's suffering, but it's good for us. It's good for us. Yeah, Yomi's great. But hopefully that answers the question. Definitely take, you know, taste and price efficiency into account. Maybe there's a cheaper way to get your protein, right? So maybe the powder is great, but turns out that eggs and just pure chicken are a lot more efficient, and you like eating that stuff anyway, because you can always meal prep instead. Like, the idea that you have to have a shake when you're on the go isn't 100% true, right? You can always just bring a little sandwich and eat that on the go. Bring a wrap and eat that on the go. You're going to be left in either case with an empty shaker bottle or an empty Tupperware container. They're both an empty piece of plastic though at the end of the day. So just think about it that way. You don't have to be constantly just drinking things. You can bring food places. That's totally fine. So, all right, other questions. Thought on BCAAs for muscle soreness? I don't think it's worth it. BCAAs are branched chain amino acids for the most part. If you are not a vegan and you're eating a well-balanced diet and getting your protein, you have enough of the amino acids in you that you're already optimized there. Like, I don't think BCAAs are really worth it, in my opinion, if you're already eating complete like protein and you're already all set there. It can be useful sometimes for vegans to make sure that they are covering their bases. But I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the price. Now, if you want to spend money, feel free, but I don't think it really does anything to be worth it. From what I've seen, I'm open to being wrong about that, but I have seen plenty of studies about that. Of it not really doing anything over just eating chicken, for example, right? But the idea being that, you know, BCAAs would give you complete amino acid profile when you didn't already have it, but if you already have it, it wouldn't matter, is kind of the thing there. Now, there might be some BCAA supplements that have other things in it that could help, but for the most part, just that isn't really doing much. What about EAAs? Same sort of thing. I haven't seen any long-term data to suggest that really a lot of that category of stuff isn't super useful or in a proven capacity, right? Now, the thing is, this is all down to individual preference, right? If somebody comes to me, regardless of what the data says, like I'm not going to be like a actually, right? Regardless of what the data says, if somebody comes to me and they say, hey, whenever I take BCAAs, I feel better, then keep taking them. Right? They work for you, clearly. Whether it be a placebo effect or not, they definitely work for you. So keep doing it. There's no harm in that if you feel like the price is worth it. I'm just saying general population, when we see studies, it doesn't show us that effect for the most part. There's, you know, the tier 1 supplements that I talk about, like caffeine and creatine and protein, where it's like, yeah, we know these work very well. Tier 2 supplements, things like tart cherry extract, ashwagandha, those are things that like, and beta alanine's kind of in there too. We're like, they might do something. But we're not like 100% sure, and it might not be for everybody. And then beyond that, there's also like the tier 3 of just like, we don't think this actually does anything it's claiming to do, but maybe if you're lucky or you have a unique physiology or something, and then it's kind of individual preference at that point. But hey, what's up, Ransom? What's going on? It seems easier to eat. That's what I say. Like, I think it's always easier and cheaper to just eat lean meat and veggies. Right? Like, I always like to come down to this idea that nutrition can be very complicated if you overthink it and you really get into the depths and the weeds of it like we do here. But at the end of the day, if it's overcomplicated, just kind of follow the rules that like your grandma set out of eat a balanced diet and get enough fruit and vegetables, and you're 90% of the way there. That is like, despite all of this high level studying that we've done and this all these metabolic studies and stuff, we really have come to the same conclusion at the end of the day. Like, we did all that work just to kind of find out that like, yeah, balanced diet of fruit and vegetables and lean meats and good fats was the right answer all along. Like, there's no surprise. The Mediterranean diet was probably the best one. like no surprise. It just turned out that to be that in the case. So yeah, so you don't have to buy all this stuff. It's fun to think about the optimization of it all, but like, you don't have to. You don't have to. I don't think you need to spend the money. Oh, you came on that side to call Ransom a nerd? That's fair, Varn. That's fair. Hope you're having a good day too, Bengus. Grandma let me eat cake for breakfast. She was a real one. Yeah, but the thing is, you can eat cake for breakfast. Nothing wrong with that, right? Grandma knew what was up. Grandma knew her nutrient timing, right? You could have cake for breakfast. It's fine, as long as you fit in your calories and you have good stuff the rest of the day. My grandma was all about butter, salt, and cream in moderation. Again, also totally fine. Also totally fine. Anything in moderation. Anything. You're multi-stream drifting. My goodness. Anything in moderation. Anything in moderation. Which we're going to talk about in just a moment here with the pizza thing. I keep teasing. I'm going to get to once the questions are through for now. Is heat or ice best for post-workout soreness, or do they have different benefits? Actually, good question. So this one's interesting because they do both do things that are good, quote unquote, for your body, but depends on when you do them. So I might get this wrong because it's been a while since I've looked into this. I am not the most well-versed on this particular aspect, but I remember it being that ice is not good post-workout, but is good pre-workout, and heat is better post-workout. And the reason being is I remember cold plunges. There was some data to suggest cold plunges interfered with not recovery, but specifically with muscle gain. So like, it could be helpful for recovery, but not for muscle gain, whereas warming up was good for recovery and also good for gain. But it's good, but ice was good for like preemptive before working out performance or something like that. I think they both have their uses. I wouldn't do like both back to back, obviously. And I think ice or cold plunge was the one you didn't want to do post workout. But I do think that saunas post workout are pretty awesome. And I think they do have some benefits, especially mental benefits. Both of them do. But they do have different benefits. Yes, absolutely. But in weird ways, both are good for you. Somewhere around a workout, just not necessarily all post. So I have a question. How worried should I be if the rightmost part of my field of vision is blurry after a workout? If it goes away, don't worry about it. But if it doesn't, see a doctor. Yeah, see a doctor. Bengus, see a doctor. That could be quite a few things, and none of them are good. So see a doctor and hope it's just you exercised a lot. Seeing a lot about the Wim Hof method a while ago, which feels half mysticism. Yeah, Wim Hof is half mysticism, but there's some interesting stuff there. Like, I think there's a lot to explore in the world of like heat and cold therapy. I think we're kind of just starting on that, and there's some data out there, but a lot of people are doing a lot of cool work on that, and I'm very open to that research. I want to see a lot more of it. So I don't want to make any bold claims. I'm not going to come out and dismiss it outright and be like, it's useless stuff, right? Because we are seeing some cool stuff. We're seeing a lot about red light therapy too. A lot of cool effects of that coming out in studies. So I think we're pretty new on that to make definitive, bold judgments on whether it's completely useless or completely useful. So I'm going to take a middle of the road approach, but I do think that I remember hearing you don't want to cold plunge post workout, and that can interfere with muscle gains in particular. So. But I think they're both good tools that you can use in other contexts. Absolutely. Before I got my glasses, one of my eyes was stuck in one position when I woke up. Ooh, yeah, I did have, I had the thing once where I think it was like stress or something, but my eye would twitch. Like my lower eyelid would twitch involuntarily for a while. Like it looked like I was like going insane. And I was like, why is that happening? I was just like looking at myself in the mirror, felt fine. And it eventually went away, but I was like, whoa, what's going on? What is this? That's weird. Okay, talking about everything in moderation, let me get to this finally. Let's talk about Tale of Two Pizzas. A little bit of a little nutritional tip as we go about our life. We're going to go over here for this. Okay, Tale of Two Pizzas. Let me show you something. And there's a pretty obvious, but I think an important thing to recognize when we talk about this. So let's talk about frozen pizza. Here are two frozen pizzas. Right? Both of these are complete frozen pizzas, right? Not missing anything size-wise. These are both in their own right, complete yummy frozen pizzas. But despite that, hold on, let me increase the size here, put it down here. Despite that, look at this massive difference in the calories, right? And in the protein, I would say, and in the protein. And this is where we talk about the idea of moderation and the idea of even if you have a cheat day, right? Even if you want to make what you might consider, or fitness influencers might consider, a bad decision, right? You could still have some control over a bad decision, even if you want to have a cheat day, because there's a big difference between these two sandwiches. The one on the right, or the pizzas, the one on the right comes out to somewhere around 2,000 calories. The one on the left comes out to a per container 880 calories. And the question I'm going to ask you, chat, is do you think the DiGiorno Rising Crust is over 2 times as yummy as the California Pizza Kitchen BBQ chicken? Do you think it's worth 2 times the calories? That's the question I want to pose to you. Despise when they give the serving size of an odd number. Who cuts a pizza into fifths? Yeah. But thirds, I mean, this tells you per container, right? This tells you per container on the left, so it's fine. But this is just an idea I had when I was having a conversation with somebody about like nutrition and about like dinners, especially like easy, quick dinners. Just because you are tired, just because you want an easy dinner, you want a frozen pizza someday, does not mean you have to go crazy. And that's kind of what I have to impress upon you here, is these are both full pizzas. But just because you want to have like a lazy day or something doesn't mean you have to go for this 2,000 calorie option. And this is the case across almost every type of food, right? You could order DoorDash and spend $35 and get something that's 2,000 calories as well. And then you're out $30 and 2,000 calories. Or alternatively, you can go get a California Pizza Kitchen BBQ for 880 calories and it's $6. So you always have to consider that even if you are on this mindset of like, I want a cheat day, I want a binge day, I want to have a treat, you don't have to go crazy with it. You can treat in moderation. You can binge in moderation, as ironic as that sounds, and it will set you up for future success. So not a fan of Pizza Kitchen, so yes, you go with Newman's, and Newman's is fine too. And there's middle grounds, right? You don't have to go for the California Pizza Kitchen. I just want people to be cognizant that there are massive differences between one frozen pizza to another, or one frozen pasta to another, or one frozen dinner to another. Good middle ground would be something like the Red Barons. There's Red Baron Brick Oven, off the top of my head, Red Baron Brick Oven Supremes are 1,200 calories for the whole pizza, right? And I think that the non-brick oven variant's 1,500. That's not 2,000. That's not DiGiorno Rising Crust. Just saying. So Yeah, I love BBQ chicken too. Tell me this ends up okay to eat. Oh no, this is okay to eat. And that's what I'm saying. This is totally fine to eat, because what it comes down to at the end of the day is the calories, right? Obviously make sure you're getting your protein. Don't do this every day, but there's nothing wrong with having a pizza every once in a while, even if it's once per week, even if it's twice per week. I'm willing to say that whatever gets you to your goal, is most important. And this has been consistently shown. I will say, when you've taken, there have been some studies that have taken like, it's like a little complicated to explain, because I don't want people to take this as license to only eat fast food, right? But what I will say is that the overall body composition and weight you're at and BMI and all that matters a lot more than what you eat. And I don't want people to take that to mean license to go have only McDonald's. But what I do mean is that if you are trying to lose some weight and you are severely obese, whatever gets you there is going to be more helpful than the dangers of eating that thing. So there have been many cases, for example, and we've seen this in, you know, various fun documentary, and I'm not recommending it, where people, for example, will only eat McDonald's and lose weight and find that their blood work is totally fine and a lot better than it was before, because they're now not carrying around all that extra weight and stuff like that. Hey, what's up, Crab? What's going on? And if you make it at home, you have even more control. Yeah, you can make some crazy stuff at home. Momo, welcome in. You can make crazy stuff at home with like wraps as pizza crusts and using sauce and like turkey pepperoni and like fat-free mozzarella. You can make a protein pizza that's huge for like half these calories even. But actually prompted me to go check with my frozen Zob choice rest, respectable 1230 or 1030 container. Exactly. And that's all I want, is I want people to start thinking about it and not assume that every frozen pizza or every frozen item is the same. Everything is variance, and you can make choices that are 80% as good for 50% of the calories. And that's just what I want to really impress upon people, because I don't want people to take joy out of their lives. Like, the number one thing that I ask when I'm training a client and they talk to me about meal planning and they're worried about it, is the first thing I ask them is, what is there that you eat in the day that you don't want to get rid of? That's very important to you, right? Whether it be a chocolate, whether it be coffee, whatever it is, what is a treat that you can't live without? You don't have to get rid of it. Just plan around it. Just plan around it. You don't have to get rid of it. And we have to think, right? Like, hey, you bought a house today, Crab? Nice. Broken, no more landlord. Congratulations, Crab. Good job buying a house. Damn, that's crazy. That is awesome. I hope it's a nice place. I hope you get everything you want out of your little house. Thinky gamer winter coming up. It doesn't have a working bath. Oh no. Eat less McDonald's, gotta eat more Taco Bell. Yeah, Taco Bell has some low-cal options too. But like, you know, I think we need to get away from this mindset. I think it's a damaging mindset, right? And you'll see it a lot online. This mindset of like the grinders in fitness and health influencer, where they're like, I eat chicken and rice every single day, every single meal. I'm up at 4 a.m. I go for a run every day. I hit the gym every day. And if you're not doing that, you're weak, right? No, dude. That dude, I mean, if they can keep that willpower for their whole life, great. But we have a life to live. Normal people have a life to live. And normal people have families to raise and jobs to go to, and they want to enjoy their life a little bit. So I try to set up people in a way where, you know, they can enjoy their life a little bit. And if that means getting a frozen pizza once a week, pop off. Pop off. That's not going to hurt. So, yeah. So have your stuff, but... Not a sponsor. Also swap to Ryan's Candies for a sweet tooth. I've never heard of Ryan's. What's Ryan's? What's Ryan's? Follow the Rock's diet, eat 10K a day. Yeah, don't do that. I work in construction. When there's a bad day, I will eat a freaking pizza. Well, that's the thing, Lava. If you work in construction, you could probably afford to eat a pizza. Because working construction, you're probably going to, I mean, I don't know your stats, but I know a lot of construction workers who have maintenance calories of 4,000 because of how much work they're doing during the day, right? Of course you can eat a pizza. A full pizza, even if you get a meaty special one, it's going to be like 2,500 calories. You'd be fine. You'd be fine. In fact, again, just really hammering this point home, you could have one of these California Pizza Kitchen pizzas every single day for dinner if you wanted. And still, as long as you fit it in your calories and stuff, you'd be totally fine. I don't recommend it because you probably don't want to be having this every single day, but you would not miraculously gain weight, is my point. Now, it all shakes out in the end. It works the same. So, obviously, body composition wise, right? You know, it won't necessarily work the same because that's going to depend on protein and workouts and things like that. But like the weight, you know, it'll be the same. Got to figure out how many calories my homemade pizza is. Yeah, no, do calculations. Because if you do it once, you don't have to do it again, right? As long as you keep the ingredients the same. Wonder if my resting is being as shaggy coated as my metabolism. Varn, honestly, I would say if you're completely sedentary, it's tough. I would generally, I think dudes who are like average height and above, who are completely sedentary, their BMR and TDEE tends to be somewhere like that 2,000 calorie mark for completely sedentary. That and up seems to be fairly accurate for males who are completely sedentary, I would say. But, and then, you know, you add things on top of that. Family started making pizza rather than buy hot and ready to save cash. I've never had a hot and ready, but I want to. Yeah, tall as hell, thin as hell, pretty much fully sedentary. Exactly. So like if you're really, really tall, for example, because that does matter quite a bit, and you are completely sedentary, like I'm just throwing out a number there. I'd guess your maintenance is probably like, it's probably like 2,400 or something like that if you're doing absolutely nothing. So, you know, as long as you eat under that or around that, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, this tale of two pieces is just to show that no matter where you go, no matter what you get, even if you want some yummy fast food, you don't have to get the biggest thing there. Just be aware of what you're putting in your body and make proper choices there, right? Going to Taco Bell doesn't mean you have to get the grilled cheese burrito for 800 calories. You could get a cheesy double beef burrito for 560, or you could get a enchilada burrito for 380, a chicken enchilada burrito for 380, right? There's many choices you can make at any place you go. Instead of a pint of normal ice cream for 1,000, you could get a pint of Halo Top for 490. So there's always small things you can do that will add up in the end that still allow you to binge and enjoy life. I won't even say binge, but enjoy your life, right? It allows you to enjoy your life and not feel like you're constantly burdened, because the reality is like fitness is a lifelong thing. So you're not just going to lock in for a year and then never have to do it again. No, you're going to have to develop habits that are sustainable. That's the most important part. So finally hit 2,000 calories as your target. Nice, Star. Nice, nice, nice. Their Fresca soft tacos are great. Yeah, Taco Bell is still one of my favorite fast food places, just because I still like, I think they have a value menu that's still worth a damn. It's still like pretty good. You know what I mean? Like most places have gotten too expensive, but you can still get a good burrito for like $2 or $3 at Taco Bell. Same for McDonald's on the value menu. Good old bean burrito never failed. Fair. Oh, chicken enchilada burrito is gone from Taco Bell? No, that was one of my favorites. Damn. Did they like do anything to replace it, or is there just like no value item menu equivalent now? That's kind of rough. That kind of sucks. Yeah, it was one of my favorites. But listen, I'm happy. Cheesy double beef burrito was my love, and that's back. And that's been back for a while, so I'm chilling with that. I'm chilling with that. As long as I have that, everything else is okay. A-okay. All right, let's see. Did we get any more questions? No, we did not. That was an old notification. Cool. BK costing 20 for a normal Whopper. Yeah, here's the thing is like I think that there's a lot of tricks. I think there's a lot of tricks, especially in the US. There's a lot of tricks out there in fast food and in grocery stores where they make you pay twice what the same thing actually kind of costs, right? You know what I mean? I do. This happens at Taco Bell too. Like there are plenty of Taco Bell menu items, considering Taco Bell at its core is like 6 ingredients in different configurations. You probably don't need to pay $8 to get the fancy one that like has a couple slices of tomatoes on it, when you can get the thing for a quarter of the price that's like the same exact ingredients and the same calories. So there's a lot of tricks like that. Same thing when you go to a grocery store, right? Some pizzas are going to be $12. Some are going to be $5. It doesn't matter that much. They're both a frozen pizza. There's not going to be a massive difference in quality for the most part. It's not like you're making a fresh organic pizza, right? So yeah, you could definitely like pretty much everywhere you look, if you have time to kind of sneak around and take a look, you can find something way more efficient. Same, right? Burger King being a great example, right? You don't need to pay $20 for a Whopper meal. There's plenty of alternatives that aren't $20. So Flamebird, thank you for the 6 months. Thank you so much. Same thing with McDonald's. You could get the same quality coffee, but pouring some water into a cup of dirt and stirring. Yeah, no, same thing for everything, right? And don't discount buying in bulk either, right? A lot of people will go to the gas station to get a morning energy drink, and it's just like a daily task for them, right? But they're going to be paying sometimes up to $4 for that energy drink. Whereas if you just bought it at home and kept it in bulk and just took one with you on the job, it'd be half the price. So just think about that in little ways in our fun economy to save some money. Someday we'll get the real beefy crunch burritos back. Yeah, those were good. Those were good. Frozen pizzas are good value, I think. I think frozen pizzas are pretty good value, especially on sale. Like I got some recently with a coupon and it was like $3 for a whole frozen pizza. And I was like, yeah, sure. It was like 1,500 calories worth of pizza for $3. And I was like, yep, absolutely. I'll take that. how pricey burgers are. It's legit better to just make it at home. I agree. I agree. Do not buy bulk meat if you don't plan on consuming it all before the expiration. You'll regret it. Well, just freeze it. Just freeze it. I mean, here's the thing, right? This is a Sclimbo stream. I'm sure anybody here who's buying meat in bulk is eating it in time, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be the Brickin' Masters. We just wouldn't be. Monster's like $3.50 now, whereas 16 ounces of Gamer Subs with VTuber mailed code is 80 cents. Wow, going. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's insane. I didn't know. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know. Great. Thank you for that math, going. Wow, thank you for that math. I had no idea. I had no idea that Gamer Subs was more efficient than an energy drink while still providing 200 milligrams of caffeine like an energy drink and also B vitamins. I didn't know that. I didn't know it's almost exactly the same ingredients as an energy drink for a portion of the price. I didn't know. I had no idea. I had no idea. Buying meat in bulk is simple. Yeah, it freezes for months. Yeah. I mean, the thing is too, is like, I buy meat in bulk. It's just not actually in bulk because I eat it all within a week, right? So like when I go to the store, people look at me funny because I buy like 7 pounds of ground chicken all at once. And they're like, wow, you're buying the store out of ground chicken. And I'm like, yeah, and I'll be back next Wednesday too, because I'm eating one of those every day. Like it's buying in bulk, but it's not actually. Yeah, I guess bulk in this case is you're not going to eat it in a week. It's not the same for everyone, that's for sure. Like if you take Brian Shaw buying like 3 pounds of bison a day or something like that, then the butcher seeing you walk down the aisle. Yeah, no, it's sad actually, because like it's funny too, because at this point I go to the same place and I know that they stock anticipating me now, because like the stock time like changed, and it's really funny because like they'll stock specifically the brand I get, and then I come in and take it all and they immediately restock it. It's really good. It's really good. Because like, you know, they only put out like 11 or 12 at a time. And I take like more than half of that and then leave. So they're like, well, we got to be ready for that because otherwise no one else is going to get any. But you know, just supply and demand, right? I'm demanding it. So supply more. Come on. That's how it should work, right? Yeah, they got their clocks like, he's coming. He's coming. He's going to buy 8 pounds of Purdue ground chicken again every week on the dot. I think I did actually get another question now. Let me check. Unless I'm crazy. I did. Okay, let's answer that. It's always Sclim o'clock. They need to feed the beast. Living in here is people's freezers are getting full of moose or deer. Oh, that's cool. Ice fishing's fun and free. I'd love to like get meat for free. That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. I was looking at some exercise equipment for strength training. One of the reviews I read for machines said it was not good for eccentric training in comparison to concentric training. Okay, yeah. How do you describe the difference? Do you have an opinion on how important both categories are? Is AG1 better than just taking a multivitamin? I see ads for it. Their forced enthusiasm is notable. Okay, yeah. So concentric and eccentric are different motions in a lift, basically, right? So concentric and eccentric define the push and the controlled down portion of a lift, basically, right? Or like the lever action of a lift, whether it be like the curl and the uncurl is what concentric versus eccentric mean, right? So obviously most lifts are going to have both. And I guess what they're trying to say there, if they're saying not good for the eccentric, is saying that the machine's tension profile is such that it's a lot easier on like the way out than it is the way in, which is not super ideal because the eccentric matters a lot for muscle growth, controlling the way, quote unquote, way down of a lift. So it doesn't mean that the review is true, but yeah, that can happen. There's plenty of machines out there that have weird strength profiles where it's not an even curve, or it's like a very uneven curve where things are really easy at the bottom or at the top and then really hard at the other end. And it's not conducive to one type of training or focusing on one type. So some people, for example, will do like, what's it called? Like, what's the word for it? Lengthened partials, where they'll take like the hardest part of the lift and they'll just focus on that. So it's not a full range of motion, but they're doing the hard part over and over and over again. And a machine like that has a weird strength curve could be unoptimal for that. If that answers the question. So, and is AG1 actually better just taking a multivitamin? I would say probably. Depends on the multivitamin. Obviously, there's a lot out there. I think it's a solid powder from what I've seen. Obviously you could just have vegetables if you like them, but AG1 would be something that like I would look at because I don't like eating vegetables. But yeah, I think it's better than a lot of multivitamins, but I think there are probably some multivitamins that are similar, if not the same as AG1. I haven't looked at AG1's price though, so I don't know how efficient. I guess I could do like a calculation on that, but you know, If they didn't know Sclim before 2025, they'd think I'm a Bricken scalper. Yeah, I am. I'm a Bricken scalper, you know? Once Bricken, please don't raise Bricken's price, by the way. I need that. Please don't. Yeah, power curve on some machines are freaky. Yeah, some of them are just like have complete slack at the bottom and they really bother me. The thing that actually bothers me the most is if you run into a chest press machine and the chest press does not let you have an articulation on the back, right? So like you can't move up and it ends with this thing where like the bottom end of the chest press is above your chest. And it's like, well, the best part of the lift is missing. Like the grips start out like a foot away from your chest at like the most locked in position. And you're like, that sucks. I'm only pushing half of a lift. That's the one that bothers me a lot. I need to be able to move the machine up. So I'm basically like pinned when I'm behind it. If I'm doing a chest press, you know, I want to be like stretched out and like stretching at the bottom before I even start. $80 for a pack of 40. So that's what, $2 a serving. I think you could do better. I think you can do better. Yeah, I think you can do better than that. But I'd have to really do a comparison of like a multivitamin and that, and then the bioavailability between the two. It'd be really hard. I probably don't have the machines. I definitely don't have the machines to do that like rigorously. So it'd just be a guess. Just learn how to use a leg extension on our gym. Yeah, leg extension is another one that can be that way. You ideally want to start a leg extension like further back than just sitting at a 90-degree angle. Like you want your legs to be further back so they have more range of motion to do the lift up and stuff. So yeah, a lot of machines feel like they're not built for optimization. So that's a big one. That's a big one for sure. Forgot to mention the machine in question. Mind if I post it? Yeah, post it. Concept 2 strength ERG machine uses air resistance. Oh, you can lift, but it recedes on its own. Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. Okay, so yeah, that is a big problem with the eccentric. Big problem with the eccentric. The only type of machine I've seen like this that is good is something that costs like $1 million, and it's the best machine of all time. But let me look this thing up. I want to open this up on stream. Let me grab that, and I just want to put the chat window away for a sec, or I want to put this away, and then I'll tell you about like the coolest machine I've ever seen. That's like the opposite of this. All right, let's take a look. Strength ERG. Let's take a look at this. Strength ERG. Okay, yeah, so we have a whole video here, but I see the concept. So, performance monitor, power of air resistance, comprehensive safe workout without the need of weight plates. You can apply as much or as little force as you want, and the strength ERG will accurately measure and display your results. Yeah, okay, so this is performance tracking. So it'll tell you like how much you push, but that is dumb. That is dumb. Yes, if it's just resistance on one direction and not the other. And what even is it movement? Is it, okay, so it's a row, but there's no, and it's a leg press, but only in one direction. Yeah, so in many cases, depending on the lift, the actual down portion of a lift is more important than the concentric. So this is kind of losing out on half the exercise if it just goes back on its own. Don't like that at all. The one thing I will say is there's a version of this machine that kicks ass. There's a version of this machine, and I forget what it's called, but it's very expensive, but it will dynamically increase the difficulty of a lift as you do it. And the idea is it will always be exactly as strong as you are. And it will give you the exact strength curve in both directions as you are. And it's like, ooh, that's juicy, right? Like you absolutely know you're getting the most out of a lift, because I think Tonal might do that. You know you're getting the most out of a lift because it will kind of fight you as much as you possibly can per rep. I've seen Will Tennyson hit a few of them, and it's like a really cool concept. Really, that must be the most efficient way to work out, I'd imagine. Yeah, I know Garage Gym. They're pretty good usually. Gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Good for people who are injured or older, want to exercise safely. I mean, yes, I would agree with that to some extent. Are we sure? By the way, are we sure that it's actually no resistance on the way down? Because some of these look like they might be. Hold on. It's hard to tell. The row doesn't look like it. Yeah, the row doesn't look like it. But some of the others might be. You thought this was an ad? Oh, no, sorry, Kermit. No, we're looking at it. We're seeing if it's optimal and stuff. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like, sure, this is good for people who are injured or older and want to exercise safely. But you can exercise safely in both directions without losing half the lift. You don't need to do that, you know? Welcome in, Maury. What's going on? Read the review, got no idea because I ain't spending $1,500 to find out. Yeah, nor do you need to. This is like a cool concept for performance tracking, right? Because it's going to accurately measure your exact push strength So you could use that to track like a 1 rep max bench if you're a competitor or something. That I think is pretty good for, right? So say you were doing a powerlifting competition at bench press or like a powerlifting competition, if they have like a squat or leg press for this, you'd know your exact power output, which is pretty useful knowledge, but I don't really like it for Gen Pop. I think you'd rather just, yeah, safely do both sides of an exercise. You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. As with most things, you can do without it. You can do without it. But I am biased towards that big time. Big time. All right, let's see. Any more questions? Any more fitness stuff? We talked about pizza. Let me go back over here. All right, as always, if we have any more questions, you can feel free to put them in as usual. But I kind of just want to talk. You know, let me go back to just chatting before we do anything else. I think that'll be it for fitness now, unless something comes in. But we'll jump out of the category for now and go back to just chatting, or go to just chatting. First time today. I want a new exercise machine to hang clothes on when I ain't using it. Emerald Rogue? I mean, maybe later, maybe a little bit later. But you know, I just like, I don't know. We haven't talked for a while. I do want, this is something that I like deeply want, is I really appreciate the just chatting time I get with everybody here. That's like one of my favorite parts of the week, is just like regular just chatting. We're just talking about whatever comes up and like, you know, tangents and stuff like that and looking into random things. So even though these are the fitness streams, I definitely want to move in the direction of like, people need to, I want people to understand this is also just chatting, and we're just going to talk about topics as they come up and stuff like that, because I value that a lot. I think it like helps me connect to everyone better. I feel like I feel like, yeah, that's like community stuff, you know, it's good community stuff. Yeah, Pokemon is good for chatting, and then Pokemon's always in the background, but sometimes I like doing just like pure just chatting, you know, and that's what Thursdays are half of. It's like the fitness, but also the just chatting. And there are going to be days where we run out of fitness questions, and there's going to be days where we have good topics that aren't fitness that I want to talk about. So you're heinously biased. I get that. No, I'm biased towards just chatting. Like, I've always seen myself as like a just chatting streamer, and then also variety in the background and Pokemon. But I agree, like chatting, I think is like the peak of content. And you'll see it too, Jinan. Like, there's that famous Giga thing where General Giga talked about like her analytics when she went from just chatting to game playing, and like her viewership will drop off like crazy, because a lot of people are here for just chatting, and I love it. It's my favorite thing. So that works for me. That works for me. Let me take a drink. Yeah. No, and that's how it is. That's how it is. Like, I'm not super analytics brained and stuff like that, but I think it's good to check every once in a while just to see how you're doing and see what you can improve on and stuff, because self-improvement VTuber, right? I'm always trying to do better. I'm always trying to do better and give people more of what they want. So, you know, it's a balance of what you want to do the most and then what people want to see. Playing a new horror puzzle RPG based on Winnie the Pooh called Winnie's Hole. Yeah, Winnie's Hole. That's what they're calling it. That's the name they chose. That's what they're going for. We can take a look at Winnie's Hole coming up soon. People could talk about anything while gaming are the best. Yeah, no, I agree. I like tangents. I think they're really good. Generally don't like just chatting. I have a hard time paying attention unless what you're doing interests me, but this talk interests me. So yeah, no, I get that. And people, I think it's like the idea behind just chatting is eventually you have an audience who also provides conversation, right? So you don't have to like come it all up with it yourself. You get to like talk back and forth with people. And that's that kind of like individualized response that smaller streamers can do, because our chats aren't like so fast that we can't respond to everybody. We can just like talk about whatever people want to talk about. Saw that on my YouTube feed. Sounds odd to say the list. Let me look this up. Winnie's Hole. Yeah, I don't know about that name though. But that did enter the public domain, right? What's like the next round of public oh God. Why does he look like that? Oh, all right. This is, yeah. He's all like, hold on. I can like drag this. That's something I learned I can do. Hold on. Let me drag Winnie's Hole over really quick. I should be able to drag and drop. I learned that was something I can do, I think. Hold on. Oh, it's not working for some reason. Weird. I thought you could drag and drop images into OBS, but guess not. My ideal VTuber is someone who does chatting and plays games that I'm obsessed with. Yeah, like Pikmin or Mario Sunshine. I mean, yeah, everyone's ideal is different, right? So smaller streamer, you have 3-5 followers. Yeah, but you know, there's ranges, right, Frost? There's ranges. Smaller streamer because I can still keep up with chat. Obviously, if you have 4,000 viewers, or 16,000 viewers or 35,000 viewers, you can't keep up with chat anymore at that point. So it's almost like you're talking, it's almost the same as when you start and you have no viewers, because you're going to be talking to a wall either way, you know? I watch Geek all the time. I don't watch her gameplay much because I like to experience games. I get that. Then I'm also the same way. Like, I don't watch a lot of gaming content. I wasn't even much of a stream watcher in general. I like streaming, but like I wasn't a big fan of watching. But I obviously watch things nowadays in the background and stuff. But I know when I work, at the very least, I need to focus. So I always, because I'm usually doing audio work, especially like making shorts. I can't listen to people while I'm making shorts because I'm worried about the short audio. So I have to mute things. You know. Small group like this feels better. Yeah, I think like this is a nice place to be where, ideally, yeah, followers does not equal CCV. Very much does not. Those are two very completely different metrics. And CCV even isn't like the best metric in the universe, right? Because you can have people with wildly different CCVs who receive wildly different levels of support and who do wildly different things, right? And then also have like wildly different people coming through every time. Viewers and followers are different. Even the current CCV is considered smaller. True. Yeah. Even at top 1% it is. Yeah. Watching a streamer that went from 20 to 100 in the last few months, even that's a massive vibe shift, let alone someone going to 1,000. Yeah, totally. Smaller streamer is like under 200 CCV. Yeah. But that's the thing, like Janan, you bring up a good point, right? Some people can pay the bills on 50 CCV just because of the type of community they have or the type of content they do. And some people need 400 or 500 to pay the bills. So it's very different. It's really hard to say that it's like there's one right answer or there's one thing you should focus on or worry about even, because things are crazy. Like things are so wild and so all over the place. Hey, what's up, Necromantic? What's going on? Like, I'm trying to think of I was having this conversation with somebody recently, and this was mostly like, talking about detractors, right? Like people who will anti online and stuff like that, and they'll say negative things. They'll be like, oh, this person's only X CCV, or like they're falling off. And I'm like, that's such a crazy thing to say when you look at like the width of a streamer's lifespan. Like if you go look at VTubers who have been around since 2020, most people peaked in 2021 and they have like way less CCV than they used to. But that's not what it's about, right? You can't say they fell off. They say that the circumstances were completely different because everybody was locked inside, right? Or, good example is people will stream sometimes for 2 years, 3 years and have the same relative CCV and then suddenly double out of nowhere. So you never know when it's going to happen. And so it's really irresponsible, I think, to say anyone's fallen off or anyone's doing bad or good or any of that, because it's like it really comes down to you never know what's going to happen, and opportunities can come out of nowhere as long as you stay the course. Enoch, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Yeah, we're talking a little bit about analytics. My sense of range is dead when I watch Sclim stream for, to you and 1 to 2 others when I was in the factory. Yeah, absolutely. But talking a little bit about it, just like in a good way, though. In a good way. Also not their business. Yeah, also not their business. Sclimbo's falling off. No. Shameless ASMR enjoyer. I will drop what I'm doing to jump into my streamers' chats during those. Yeah, and different categories, right? Have vastly different fan bases. There are ASMR streamers who they're doing incredibly well. But if they do gaming content, they'll have a quarter of their normal audience, right? Just because that's what they focused on. So it's just like things, you can't look at things on such short a scale, all to say, and make any sort of determination about it. Because you never know what's going to happen, right? Somebody who's been streaming to the same, 20 or 30 people for 3 years straight might suddenly the next month have 100 and then stay at 100 forever because they just had an opportunity. Something happened, right? And I think that's why it's important to always stay the course. And I think like, I want to make a post about this at some point, just as like a for streamers thing, right? Where it's like, I think streamers should keep their motivation up, and if they can, and try not to get too doomer about it, because the way I look at it, every stream is kind of like a gacha game. And this is like a funny way to think about it, but like gamify the idea, right? You have no idea what's going to happen on a stream. As far as you know, you might have somebody come in and raid you with like 10,000 people. You have no idea if that's going to happen. Maybe you'll make a new longtime friend. Maybe even if the stream doesn't do well, you get great clips out of it, and then those pop off, right? Maybe you have like an awesome throne donation or a big sub gifting or something like that. Like you never know what good thing is going to happen on a stream, or maybe you just have a great conversation about a really good topic. And so I like to think of streams kind of like gacha, where it's like it's always good to go live because you never know what's going to happen, and it's exciting in that way. So I think that's like a good perspective to have that keeps things fresh, The ASMR audience is the true silent giant. Yeah, totally. Yeah, become a Sclimbo attractor, tell everyone he's gonna get bigger. Yeah, listen, invest in Sclimcoin. Trust me, invest in Sclimcoin. You're gonna be glad to be here on the ground level of my crypto. No, invest in me. You'll be rewarded greatly, I'm sure. I always remind myself, you miss 100% of the discovery you don't stream for. Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I think there's good knowledge to be had. I think there's something to be said about if you are doing the same thing over and over again forever and it's not working, to maybe change your approach, right? Because then there's the whole like definition of insanity thing. And that's not to say like don't stream, but I think there are cases where you can stream too much. Like, I think there are cases where you can stream too much. Like, if I'm being 100% open, I think I'm streaming too much this week. I think this week was a little much, because I think there are times where you can stream a lot and that's good, but sometimes there is a ratio where your time is better spent like making outside content rather than going live yet again. And I think like you should stream a lot, right? I think it's good to stream and good to go live, but I think there is a point where you want to start being like, okay, maybe outside content might be more beneficial at some point, you know? There's someone I knew that was known as the guy for a certain game. You get like 400 CCV. If you change to anything else, you get 30. Yeah, and that's like the benefit and the danger of building a community around one game is that they probably will not follow you to the next game. And VTubers, some VTubers do this, but VTubers, and one of the reasons why I like the medium is we're kind of allowed to do anything as VTubers, and everything's under the umbrella, right? So I can do like Pokemon, I can do just chatting, I can do like food cooking streams, I can do like IRL, like adventure streams in the future, and it's all under the umbrella of VTuber, right? And I think that's what's really fun about VTubing is everything's kind of permissible, and so you get to have a lot of fun variety. You know, I think that's the exciting part, is getting able to do everything. We need more male VTuber hog snarling ASMR, like wee, like that, you know, something like that. Yeah, I think 2 to 4 max is good. I think 4 is good. I like 4 and then collab. Like, I think my ideal schedule forever would be 4 streams plus 1 collab. And like 2 of those streams are something that's like repeatable content. 2 are content that change every week. So you can like do new stuff, and then like 1 collab. I think that's like for a total of 5 streams. I think that's pretty optimal. I like that a lot. I've watched streamers who went from doing 8 to 10 hours a week to 40, 50, impossible to keep up with. Yeah, you know, you have to realize some people want to watch every stream. That's like one of the main reasons why I do not stream outside of my hours. So you'll notice when I do collabs, I tend to not to go live on my own channel if it's like in the evening or something, because I know like, hey, you guys are here at noon. You're probably asleep or doing something completely different then. And I'm not going to like ruin your stream streaks or anything like that by going live on my own during an evening thing outside of like big circumstances that I hype up ahead of time. So I always want people to like know when I'm going live, to set that expectation and set that that habit, right? If people want to watch consistently. So one issue I have is people not streaming at exactly the same time. Yeah, and like a lot of people, the nice thing is like I do know people who actually are very successful without schedules, and they approach streaming completely different. It's like a super valid way to approach it. I almost said stupid, but super valid way to approach it, where their approach is, hey, I'm more creative when I can go live whenever I want and do whatever I want. And that's for sure true, because there are definitely times where it's like, okay, well, I made my schedule ahead of time and I'm playing this game on this day, but maybe I don't really feel up to playing that game on that day, but it's on the schedule, so I got to do it. And the freedom of just doing anything whenever would absolutely enhance creativity in that case. And that works really well for some people. I'm a very regimented person. I'm like, I want people to know that at noon, I'm here, we're doing our stuff, right? Pokemon's on Monday. Just Chatting and Fitness is on Thursday. Right now, Voice of the Void's on Tuesday. Fridays for unique ideas and collabs and stuff like that, right? That is the expectation. You know that if you're showing up at noon EST on Monday, Pokemon is happening on screen and I'm here, right? I like setting that expectation. I like setting that big time. VTubing is a free pass for variety content. I know, that's why I like it. Yeah, we did do a cooking stream before. We'll definitely do more. You ever hear about the general rules of attraction with fashion? Like how if it doesn't have texture, make up for it with color. If it doesn't have color, make up for it with layers. I think a lot of people can learn a lot. Yes, I agree. And I think like just general advice to any VTubers out there right now, or content creators in general, is I think outside content is like very important right now. I think like if you're trying to grow, I think outside content's super important. And I think it's really hard to grow these days, especially from zero with just streaming. So I definitely recommend like make videos about things you're interested in and do shorts and things like that, or do something else, because I think it matters a lot now. Just to be clear, I ain't mad streamers do ASMR and people enjoy it. Seeing the massive jump makes me feel like it ain't a community. Well, it's a community for one thing, right? It's like, you know, just because I like Pepsi's products. I don't know, like I'm trying to think of it like a food analogy, right? I like the burritos from Taco Bell, but not the salads, right? But they're both from Taco Bell. I think it's totally fair. Like I'm pretty laissez-faire with streaming, where I'm like, I don't judge anyone for, you know, if they don't like something, they don't have to watch. And I think that's totally fine, right? People are entitled to their time and what they do with their free time, and I think that's super fine. All you can hope to do as a streamer, I think, is make something entertaining enough that people want to come and watch it, right? So I get it, you know? You think I should stream at 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. 4 days a week? Okay, well, you know, it's funny you say that, Going, because I have had this idea for a long time. I'm probably not going to do it because people care a lot about their streaks, but I've always had this idea of doing like an AM PM split thing where there's like 2 different Sclimbos, right? Where there's like the morning high energy Sclimbo, and that's like one stream, but then in the evening there's also a separate stream, but it's more low energy and more like chill, like kind of like, you know, like more chilled out, not ASMR or anything like that, but it's kind of just like, you know, more chill and stuff like that. It's way lower energy. I've always had that idea of doing like the Sclimbo split, or like the split stream idea of like high energy mornings, but then also low energy nights. I don't think I'm going to do it anytime, but it's something I've thought about as like a thought experiment before. I'm hoping 2026 is the year of creativity. I think there's been a lot of creative stuff recently, and I think I am a very big believer in VTubing. I've been around since the beginning. I'm here now. I'm part of an agency. I'm here for a long time. We have crazy things coming with, like, you know, obviously my evolution and other cool stuff they're going to be doing with SVA. So it's going to be an awesome year for us. It's going to be an awesome year for us. And I'm just excited to be here because this is what I wanted, to be involved, you know? I think it was better when I streamed whenever, but I also know people like a specific time. Yeah, I think like consistency is super important when you're starting off too. I think you can kind of get away with having a more consistent schedule once you grow a bit. I think it's easier to get away with because you have like a big enough community that people are showing up for all your stuff. But yeah, let's see here. It's like the one chatter said above. I like to play games myself the first time. I agree. Hanging out during ASMR and just chatting is perfect. Exactly. Like I tend to prefer ASMR or Pokemon. Like obviously I have my bias. If I go down my Twitch page when I'm eating dinner and I see someone's playing Pokemon, I'm there. That's why you'll see me suddenly, like, the most time I chat on other people's streams is like a Nuzlocke happens and I just like get summoned, right? I'm just like, whoom, I'm here now. Hey, what's up? Are you Nuzlocking? Because like obviously that's what I enjoy, right? Sleep maxing. I have a friend who streams in the morning and streams at night, and they seem to be doing decently. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to stream in the morning and night with like different personality, almost. Not in like a multiple personality way, but like I know I'm worse at night. Like this is a criticism I levy at myself. I am a worse streamer at night for what I consider to be me. Because I'm a high energy dude. I like yapping. I like talking fast. I'm tired by the nighttime because I wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m. I work out. I stream early. So that's like the end of my day at like in the evening. So I'm way more low energy and I'm just like not as snappy. And I know that about myself. So I had this idea of like, yeah, it'd be cool to like blow my energy early in the morning with streams like we do here, but then in the evening do stream again, but it's like a lower expectations, like more chill gaming content, quieter, like lower type thing. But not anything I'm going to do because I know people care about their streaks and I'm also not like set up for that right now, but that could be something I experiment with in the future, at least a little bit. When do we get sleep deprived, Sclim? Ideally never. Ideally never. Ideally never. I know sleep deprived Sclim is really funny, but that's not good for me. So it's an accident if it does happen. But yeah, fighter of the night, Sclimbo. As long as you don't do full ASMR, because I will not be watching that stuff. Yeah, it's fine. And you know, I'm not intending to ever do full ASMR, but if I ever do, I would never judge you for not watching. You know, I would never judge you for not watching. But I don't think I have any intention to do full ASMR streams. You know, there might be things I do, right? Like I'm willing to experiment because like I do like traditional VTubing. So I might do like a voice pack here or there, right? And do like a, you know, fitness trainer voice pack or something like that. Or, you know, there might be some things coming up that I don't know what I'm doing with yet, but there might be something coming up pretty soon that might have some voice stuff involved. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing full ASMR streams ever. No offense, but I wouldn't watch, yeah, ASMR. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like people have different tastes and, you know, you're here for one thing. And if you're not here if I ever did it, I wouldn't expect you to be here, you know? Just for the people who like it. It's different audiences. Different audiences. When you do evolve, will it happen like an old Pokemon game? No, I think, well, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. Yeah, Sclimbo After Dark. Exactly. Different moods. He's treating you after you drop the weights during deadlifting. You need an ambulance. Yeah. Probably work best for sub-channel and Discord. Valentine's Sclimbo ASMR. Okay, well, not for you guys. But I did get... People might have seen on Twitter. I did get tagged in something. And somebody was like, hey, I want you to enter this. And I was like, bet. So... Not for like you, but it might show up on another stream. It might show up on another stream. Yeah. You only show up for the first and streak though. Yeah, exactly. Sclimbo voice pack where he tells you to do one more rep. Yeah, my voice pack would just be me training. It'd just be a general training session. And it would be exactly what I say to all my clients. It'd be so easy because I'm like, have all those terms memorized and stuff. No, okay, so I don't know what to do with it yet. Let me crowdsource this actually. Okay, don't tell anybody. Okay, this is a secret. I don't think the person's here, so I think I can talk about it. Okay, so I want everyone's opinion on this. So Podge, for those who are familiar with Podge is doing a romantasy stream soon, which is like those like romance fantasy novel like shapeshifter cringe things. And it's a voice line collab, right? So she and somebody else are having a bunch of male VTubers submit voice lines to see if they could riz with it, right? And she tagged me and was like, I want you to enter. And I was like, okay, bet. But my first thought was I have to do something funny, right? Like I got to do something silly. But now I'm like, I'm torn on what I want to do. Because on one hand, I could take it seriously and the funniness could be in like my normal personality as opposed to that. On one hand, I could go like really like nasally, like cringe voice, right? And do it like that as a bit where it's like completely off-putting. Or I could just submit Oblivion Guard lines. That was my third option, is I just don't say anything and I submit like the actual voice lines from Oblivion, like the stop right there, criminal scum and all that stuff. And I don't know which one's funnier. So I haven't decided what I want to do yet. But yeah. Yeah, hit him with the yari yari to say. You need a rose you can put in your mouth with this. Yeah, so it's like I want to do whichever one's the funniest is what I want to do. And yeah, I could voice the Oblivion Guard lines. Yeah, I could do that. But I want to throw them for a loop. I just don't know what's the funniest way to do that. And so I'm struggling to decide. Yeah, Oblivion, I have the Oblivion lines ready. Like that's already prepared just in case. But I haven't fully decided where I want to commit. But I mean, there could be something there, right? Like if I do decide to go serious route on that, that would technically be Sclimbo ASMR, even though it's a joke. But yeah. Yeah, it would be funny. What I want to be careful about is like, I don't know if that would be funny for them. Like, it's funny for me, right? To be like, oh, haha, it's Oblivion voice lines. But if they did expect serious entries and then got a joke entry like that, like, and they were like, that's haha, but we wanted a serious entry. I'm like, oh, I feel bad then. So I'd have to judge the vibe, I guess, properly, accurately. What about like rewriting Never Gonna Give You Up? So it's not a song. Well, one thing I could do, and I've done this before, is I could take the lines that we were given and I could adapt them into fitness stuff. Right, so I could take all like the cringe romantasy lines and I could like adapt them into like fitness lines instead. You know, like still use an ASMR voice, but be like you haven't had your protein. Like, you know, we could do that. You also ask them. Yeah, I could ask them. I probably should ask them. I mean, before I do anything weird, I would ask them before I submit something. It's not just actually what they're requesting, but yeah. Let me drink. Yeah, hey there, Jim bro. Nice gains you got today. Yeah, exactly. I'll wait until I have my Spike Spiegel voice when I wake up in the morning. Let me drink. Okay, I'm going to go to ads. We got to disable pre-rolls. We'll talk a little bit more once I'm back. Everybody go get stretchy and go get a drink and all that stuff. Let me be right back. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with me. We are back after a little teensy little break. But yeah, you know, I was thinking about it on break. I think a good way to describe it is like, oh, did someone submit Philadelphia Experiment? No. If you want to get that in AOTO, I would love to put that in. That's a really good one. Would love to put that in. That's a banger. But you know, I think a way to describe it is I am Sclimbo, right? Sclimbo is a unevolved male VTuber. That's me, right? I got a foot in both worlds, I think is the way to put it, right? Like on one side, I am drawn a little bit to kind of like the Western Twitch side of things, which is like, you know, there's very distinct types of VTubing. And I think I have like one foot in like the silly Western Twitch side of things. But I also, you know, I really respect the like more traditional side of VTubing with like what the Hollow Stars do and stuff like that. And, you know, while I'm not a consumer of voice packs or anything like that, I at least respect it. And it's like part of the culture and stuff. So I think I have like a foot in like the JP world and the EN Twitch world. And, you know, it's like trying to split the difference and get a little of both, because I do like parts of both. I like sometimes the freedom of the Western side, but I do like some of the aesthetics of the JP side. So it's really complicated. I'm like in two worlds. You could say it's a lot like Phil Collins. It's a lot like two worlds, one family, like Tarzan. I'm basically Tarzan, if you think about it. And Sonic. Hey, what's up, Matthew? Would you react to my first YouTube vids intro? Give me brutal advice to get better, says Cringy Toast. Honestly, I'm not the best to ask for that. I know nothing about YouTube video intros and YouTube and stuff. I just stream. I have like no good YouTube videos of my own. Does this mean we'll get a Sclimbo Docky? That could be really funny. Show yourselves, unicorns for Sclimbo. No, it's like purely a me thing, because I don't think I am not interested in going too hard into like, I don't know, I think like the Hollow Stars, I like how the Hollow Stars do it, I think, where they're like not like overtly flirting with their audience or anything like that. Like I'm not interested in that, but I do like the aesthetics of it and like doing traditional VTubing stuff. So it's like, you know, two worlds. Yo, wait, Sclimbo Docky? Yeah, Sclimbo Docky. We could do a Sclimbo Docky. That'd be fun. But you know, the evolution. No, I'm what direction will Sclimbo go, right? Will he forge his own path? Where will he fall? That's the question. The question about the little male VTuber who could. Yeah, my Hollow Oshi flirts with our moms instead. See, like that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, become an idol like Venus or of Waldorf. Yeah, no, but it's like I respect. You know, I have a deep respect for the for that side of VTubing too. You know, I'm not like, that was one thing I was very careful of. And I think I've told this story before, but when I was getting ready for debut and I was making all my debut stuff, I wanted to be very careful that I didn't come off as making fun of male VTubers. Because I see where it could have, right? To be like, oh, you know, oh, I'm VTuber male, right? And, you know, making fun of all that and stuff. And I'm a little scrungly little guy. I didn't want that to be the impression, because I wanted to be like, put it forward right away. It's like, no. I'm like becoming one. Like that's the goal. I like it. That's, you know, where we came from, right? That sort of thing. Like that's something I do respect deeply. And the various agency and indie people who've come before me and stuff like that, right? So like, I wanted to make it very clear. It's like, I don't want to give the impression I'm making fun of it, because I do respect it. So the Sclimbo Gym Bros just do an interpretive gym dance in sequence to show off our power. Yeah, we should. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I would, and this might be surprising to some people, I would absolutely love to like do a concert and dance on stage. I'd adore that. I'd need training because I'm a little baby Sclim right now, but I would actually be super down to do that stuff. Like the concert stuff, like what Ali does and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I'd love that. Please, I have a lot of energy. Getting to dance around and jump around, that'd be awesome. I'd have so much fun. I just need training before I do anything like that. But I'd definitely be open to things like that. Like, I like just doing stuff. I like doing a wide variety of stuff, you know? So yeah, it's all just like complicated directions and stuff, right? Two worlds. Where will I be pulled? But I'm just happy to be here. And I'm honored, honestly. Honored to be here. And I'm excited for what we got cooking. And you know, I'm sure as time goes on, we'll change things here and there, and we'll try different things and stuff like that, and more optimize how we stream and what we stream and all that going forward. But I'm just glad everyone's around for the journey, you know. I was apprehensive at first about the gimmick, your vibes, thread the needle, making it fun. Oh, thanks, Heroic. Yeah. I mean, it was a tough ask, you know. It's a really tough ask because, you know, at the end of the day, It's like I'm just a little Sclimbo. I'm this little scrungly guy, and so it was like, well, I can't lean on, you know, I can't lean on a super nice model, and I can't lean on a lot of things where I just kind of have to, just have to stream, you know. So I was worried too. I was like, oh my god, are people gonna hate it? Are people gonna like it? Like, I don't know. So I'm just really happy at how it turned out. I really am. I get it sounds like fun. It's like I have no idea where to get started on training for that sort of thing. Yeah, you need like classes. You need classes. They get you on Vera's setup. Yeah, I know. We've talked about Vera's setup before. Disregard what song it is. Secretly dance the exact way Rick Astley does. No, I think we joked, but the first cover probably would be Limp Bizkit because it's funny. But glad you're not looking for Discord kittens. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's not my style. I'm good. I'm good. I just want to have fun. Like, the thing is, I like being silly. I like being silly and talking about stuff and yapping and being high energy and jumping around. But I don't really have interest in that sort of thing. But crawling in my Sclim, oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. But I also don't want to like put down the people who do that, because, you know, there are ASMR focused creators on the male and the female side and all between, that do, you know, that sort of content, and that's a specific niche, right? There are fans for that, there are streamers for that. So it's not my style, but I don't want to like deride it either or make fun of it too much, because I respect that it's just different, you know. Hey Zot, what's up? Welcome in. These wounds, they do not heal. Yeah. That'd be fun. I want to belt things out. I want to let the energy out, you know, dance around, do all that cool stuff. But I got a lot of energy to give. That's really my primary thing, is I got energy to blast you with. But yeah. Let me drink. With beautiful Chile in the background. I should go here. This is actually, I keep like coming back to how beautiful the mountains look in this picture. I should check it out. The city looks pretty nice. Anyone ever been to Chile? Are there any tips? Any Chile enjoyers in chat? Anyone who's traveled there, from there? Any tips I could get? I'm sure I could get there sometime. I'm looking at maybe a Japan trip if I can afford it this year. I'm going through heavy withdrawals, but maybe next year if I can't. Maybe next year. We'll see. There's a lot up in the air. And we'll see about all that. But let me think. Any other fun topics? Lincoln Park. Yeah, I would do it. Lincoln Park's hard though. I think one of the things that I'm most disappointed in is like when I've looked into singing before, I've realized that I'm probably a baritone, or if it's the morning, I'm a bass to baritone, but like all the stuff I want to do is not. And I've heard that you can like work towards that, but it's just tough because it's like the type of music that I'd be better at. I just don't enjoy singing because it's not fun. I like high energy stuff. I like belting. I like screaming. I like jumping around, but like all this stuff, it felt like for baritones and bass was more like slow folky stuff, and I'm like, nah, it's not fun. That's not fun. I want to be girly pop. I want to belt. Never been anywhere in South America. I want to go to Machu Picchu. That would be pretty banger. Go to Machu Picchu. Do they have it? I heard like parts of it got closed recently. Are you familiar with the work of Richard Cheese? I am. Yes, I do know Richard Cheese. But that's kind of my problem. It's like, no, but I don't want to Richard Cheese it. I want to sing like the original version and like belt it, you know? I could be the real Slim Shady Megalum. It's true. Are you a Hot Topic kid? You know what? I have a confession to make. This is very serious and near to dear to my heart, but I have a confession to make. Despite growing up in the Squee XD Glomp era, Hot Topic, I have never fully finished Nightmare Before Christmas. I know, I'm a fake fan. I felt like I needed to tell you guys. I'm sorry to anyone I might have hurt with this information, but I've never finished it. I've never seen the whole thing. And it's crazy because I've seen it like 6 times. I've seen it like 6 or 7 times, but something always happens to where I don't actually watch the full movie. Right? Like either I had to go, I was over a friend's house, or I had to go, or like the plane landed, or I get busy, or I fall asleep or something because it's really late. I've never finished the full thing. I've never finished it. So, no, don't unsubscribe. Listen, aesthetically, I'm on board because I was there. I was at Ground Zero. I was at Ground Zero. I was there when everybody had the yaoi paddles, right? I just never finished the movie. But yeah, no, I was not a Hot Topic kid, but I was adopted and part of the Hot Topic kid like groups and stuff when I was younger. Yeah, 100%. Because the thing was, the joke I used to make was I would just wear all black because I thought it was efficient. So I'd like wear all black, but I'd wear like, you know, basketball shorts and t-shirts and stuff. And so I just like, the joke was they thought I was one of them because I wore all black, right? So no, but those were the crowds I hung out with and stuff. And so absolutely, I was in that. I just, I didn't buy there myself, you know? Been trying to get someone to cover Hot Bottom Feeder by Clutch. It's a Roxanne literally recipe for crab cakes. That's pretty sick. Stream idea, watch along. You just end the stream partway through. That'd be pretty good. Venboy, thanks for the hydrate. You were a Molgoth. Were you there when they sacked Rome? Yeah, I was when the Visigoths sacked Rome. No, I would say like not really a Molgoth because that was a little too early. That was a little too early. But I was in the, hey, Hitsuji Balls, by the way. Thanks for the follow. I didn't see that. I was very much in the in like the yaoi paddle anime Nightmare Before Christmas 2006 Glomp era. That was prime. That was prime time. But I was too young for Molgoth because that was like 80s. You know, let me drink. I was there when Guy Fieri sacked Flavundium. Yeah, I was there. I remember when the burgers fell. I was there. It was a different time. Back when they sold Naruto headbands. Yeah. Oh, I miss it. I really do. I miss it. I miss it so much. I think that, you know, and everyone's coming around to this idea. I don't even think this is an unpopular opinion anymore. We were freer then. We were really cringe, but we were really free. We had a lot of fun. Buying Naruto headbands at Hot Topic, doing jutsus in the playground and stuff. I yearn for that. I think everything was more earnest then. And I think that was, I really appreciate that. Like, I think ironic humor is funny. And I think that there's some modern humor that's really funny. But, like, I don't like the general sense of irony and, like, depression stuff. Like, we were really high energy and earnest back then. And it was all giggly and stuff. And I like that. I'm a big fan of that. I do miss that. It was so earnest. Yeah, before the Funko Pop walls. I'm getting Akira flashbacks. Yeah, the cringe. Ah! Ding! Ah! Yeah. I was the autistic person who was on Socially Awkward, or who was a star on the football team, lived out in the country, a weird mix. That's a complicated one. Always really into the cringy nerd stuff, but it embarrassed me, so I pretended not to like it. Yeah, no, I remember being self-aware about it, though. Like, I wasn't actually later on. I actually got worse when I was older, which was interesting. Because when I was, like, younger, when I was in, like, I want to say this was 5th grade or something. I don't remember exactly when, but I remember that the Powerpuff Girls movie came out. And I was really embarrassed, but I wanted to go see it because I still enjoyed the Powerpuff Girls when it come online, like on TV. And I was like, oh, but nobody can know I went and saw it. So I had to have my aunt take me to a theater farther away so nobody there would see me. Because like back then, but that's the thing, I was embarrassed about that back then. But then later on in time, I was way more cringe than that. Way more cringe than that later on. I don't know what happened. I think I just didn't have any sense of shame. I still barely do, but I think I had really no sense of shame when I was in end of middle school, early high school. I was just like Gurren Laganning it up all day. I think growing up is realizing those long shorts with the flame patterns were cool. I agree, Going. They were cool. Bring back Whimsy. Bring it back. You should play Magic and D&D. I mean, I still do. Not Magic, but I still play D&D. That's rocks. We used to have the emo corner. Yeah, the emo corner. We called it that too. I forgot about the emo corner. Emo corner was a term. Wow, I haven't heard that for so long. That was a middle school term we used for like where like my group of friends would hang out. It'd be like, oh, they're over in the emo corner. Like, where's so-and-so? They're in the emo corner. I forgot about that. The Capitol's railway station was so well known. The scene kids used to hang. They started having weekly program check-ins. Nice. Not the corner. 12-year-old me loved when I found a cool stick. Yeah, I was a big cool stick enjoyer. I made like weapons for the zombie apocalypse, you know? I did sword fighting with my friends. Like, we get like sticks and shields and sword fight all over the place. Yeah, the thing about D&D campaigns is they take a lot of time and I just don't have it for the most part. Plus, I might have other D&D campaigns already happening. Haha. That are going to be things soon at some point. It might be this month. I'm not sure. We're waiting on dates, but that will be a probably streamed thing going on. So that's going to be really cool when it comes out, but I haven't really been able to play in a while. Always working on systems. Yeah, I miss stick fighting too. I don't know why we stopped doing that stuff. I think it's still cool. Yeah, you're going to get to watch Sclim D&D. Absolutely. But it is a VTuber TTRPG collab. It's actually soon, Matthew. There's one that's happening. I'm not going to spoil who or what or when, but we do have a campaign that's going to be happening live that should be starting sometime this month, I think. That's what I'm talking about. And that is coming. That is coming. I don't know if it'll be at a time where I'll be streaming it, but it will be streamed. It will be streamed and consistent. You're in 6 D&D campaigns? How do you even do that, A12? How do you even do that? That's crazy. Like, the person I know who's in the most, I think, is in 4 right now, but like, he runs a couple of them. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool stuff. But I do miss stick fighting. Why did we stop doing that? Why did we stop playing? That's my big criticism. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I didn't grow out of it or something, but I miss playing. Like, I miss stick fighting. I miss even playing on playgrounds. I miss like doing outside sports that weren't like league sports. Like, I kind of want to play capture the flag. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to play adult capture the flag or like tag or something. Like, I still want to do that. That didn't go away. Whimsy, yeah. That didn't go away. I still want to go in the woods and stick fight and LARP and pretend like we're like cool travelers and stuff, right? Like airsoft. I still like that. That's sick. That's fun. Why did we stop doing that? We got to have adult playgrounds. We got to have adult playgrounds. I mean, at least we have trampoline parks. That's about it. But have you ever tried LARP? Yes, actually. I used to do a lot of LARPing. I was in a club at one point and I was almost in charge of it, but I had to go. There are IRL jousting and lightsaber duel leagues. Yeah, and they're sick. And they're sick, and I would get involved. I absolutely would. You've been invited to play a TTRPG again. I'm kind of excited. Yeah, they're fun. I think the best way to play D&D is to not play it for a while, right? Is to like really like take a couple years and don't play it and then get invited to something and you can get really immersed in it, right? You get the music going. You maybe you're replaying some RPGs to get in the mood and stuff. That could be sick. At a certain point, my mom suddenly decided I wasn't allowed outside of my home without a walkie-talkie. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. I had woods behind the Sclim factory when I was younger, so I could just go in the woods, and they weren't like big enough woods for me to get lost in, but they were big enough woods that we could like not be in view of anyone. And so we would just go out in the woods and like make, you know, have fight arenas and get cool sticks and chart out the wilderness like on maps and stuff. It was awesome. 2 of them happen weekly on Tuesday, Wednesday. Run one of them, which happens once every 1 to 2 months. One happens once a month. The last 2 alternate every other Friday. Damn. Your Amped Guard chapter revive. What is Amped Guard? Nerd Fight Club. What is Amped Guard? Hits hardest after a break. Yeah, it's pretty cool since you haven't ran a campaign for years. Exactly, me neither. I haven't been in a campaign for a long time. I think the last time I played D&D, and that campaign fell apart, but the last time I played even one session must have been 2023. I played one session in the summer, and then it fell apart. but yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, so I'm very excited. But yeah, I wish we could still get out and play. And I think that's one of the big things. This kind of ties into fitness and nutrition as well, right? Like that, this is one of the reasons why kids generally are more fit is because they just move more, right? We've talked before about this idea that, oh, when you get older, your metabolism slows down. Well, new data has been showing it really doesn't until your 60s. We just stop moving way earlier than that. I've seen some people suggest, and this might be like a pop study or a sensationalist thing, but I've seen some claim, I forget where or what, but it was like a certain percentage of adults will never run again past the age of 30. Like they will never find a reason to run. Once they hit 30, it's like there's a certain percentage, and it was pretty high, of people who just like will never in their life sprint for any reason ever again. And it's like that's scary to think about. That's scary to think about. And I think that's really a big part of the whole fitness and health problem is like if we were allowed to play like we used to and like low stakes, you know, just messing around and stuff like that, having whimsy, I think everybody would enjoy a lot more rather than having only leagues or only regimented things, so on and so forth, right? Like even fitness plans, while they're most efficient when they are regimented, we don't tend to look high on just going into the gym and having fun, you know? And yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, more stationary jobs. Last time I remember running was before lockdown. Yeah, I try to run. I remember that a lot, so I try to run a lot. I don't like go for runs, but I try to whimsically run a lot, right? So I just like, I'll be in the woods some days when I'm walking around when there's not snow hell. And I'll just be walking around in the woods and I'll remember that statistic and I'll just start sprinting. I'll just like start sprinting, put on some Naruto music and sprint as fast as I can and just be like, yeah, like it's not going to be me. I want to keep being able to run and sprint and stuff like that and jump around. Yeah, battle games like capture the flag, elimination. Yeah, friendly games are good. People get weird about competitions. Yeah, I think competition's fine. Like, you know, because you're competing whenever you're playing like flag football or capture the flag or anything. But it's the structured stuff where it's like, oh, no, this is a league and you're going to be at these structured practices and tournaments and you need equipment and you have to pay a fee. It's like, no, I just want to go to a park and play. Like, I don't want to pay anything. I just want to show up to a park and play with my friends, but as an adult, you know? But it's tough that we don't have that infrastructure. At the very least, I think a lot of other countries do have like they have like fitness equipment at parks and stuff. See, that's cool because it's easy to say, hey, let's head on down to work out together and stuff. And you can kind of get a little bit of that. But yeah, I miss all of that. I miss like walking around. You never just, when you were younger, you ever just wander around with your friends, right? Maybe you'll go get a snack from a corner store, but you're just walking around at night with your friends, just kind of wandering the streets. I miss doing that. I still think that rocks. Yeah, Pokemon Go was awesome for that. Yeah, that's why Pokemon Go, that whole craze was incredible because we basically reignited whimsy for like a year where like everybody, even adults, were just doing fun stuff again, going outside and going to parks, even if it was to look at your phone. Like the amount of movement that people were doing in Pokemon Go was huge. Like, don't knock it. I know people who are walking like 10 miles a day playing Pokemon Go. And it was really, really good for them. And community building too. So many friends, relationships, things like that were made off Pokemon Go. Like, that was it. That was the sauce. Your local park has fitness machines? Yeah. Oh, it's still upside down? Damn. Yeah, we don't have that here. It sucks. We have nothing. Our parks are just grass. And it's like, all right, I guess we bring all the equipment. You have to have a kid to go to one as an adult. You like you can't go to playgrounds, obviously, right? But like, at least where I'm at, you can go to parks as an adult, but like, there's nothing to do. You can wander around, you can sit on a bench and eat. That's about it. You could read maybe, but yeah, I think my friends and I climbed on every school. Nice. We don't get to just play anymore because the moment someone gets hurt, the lawsuits start flying. Yeah, it's also the infrastructure though. Like, we'd be able to play if the infrastructure enabled it, because there are still places where people play, you know, or move more. Plenty places move more, but yeah, I guess play as an adult is kind of hard. You kind of have to have like a almost hunter-gatherer thing going on where you're still chasing down animals, right, as adults. And there's a reason to be outside chasing things down and kind of shooting the shit, right? Because if you look at like, if you ever watch videos about like uncontacted tribes or tribes that still live in like a low technology environment and their lifestyle, you'll find that like it's a lot of hanging out. like yeah, they're hunting animals and stuff, but they'll go out and they'll hunt, but like they're taking breaks and just like hanging out with their friends and making jokes, and then they go hunt something, and then they're just like walking around hanging out. There's a lot of chilling going on, and it's like yeah, it's what it's about. One time when I was out during that, there were people in Team Rocket shirts selling battery charges. Yeah, that's sick. The thing I'm most upset about is every parkour gym I can find is only for kids. Yeah, no, I agree, Iono. That's what's really annoying is a lot of trampoline parks too. A lot of trampoline parks are only for kids. And or at the very least, like, they'll be for adults, and you'll look and they'll say like everyone can go, and you know, there's even separate forums for 18 up and stuff like that. But then when you go, it's only kids, and it's like, that's fine. I like kids being able to do their thing and stuff, but it's like you feel awkward. You're like, oh, I probably shouldn't be here, even though it's allowed. I probably shouldn't be here. So we need like an adult only place, you know? There's no common woods for people to hunt and forage in anymore. Yeah, I want to forage. I want to forage with friends. That's like a good morning exercise, right? Like, you go out in the morning, you meet up. It's like meeting up for coffee, but you meet up to like get mushrooms in the woods, you know? A nice, beautiful spring morning, and you're just going around like, let's go get some mushrooms, you know? Yeah, that's what it's about. I think one of the coolest things you can do in like 2026, and this might sound like crazy, but I think this is like super, it's like a radical thing you can do almost, is just like meet up with a friend in the morning and be outside. I think that's like something that's so rare nowadays, you know, that it's really cool to do. Whimsy's important. I still remember when I was on the way to work a few years ago, there's a dude in a whole custom out Grinch suit with a contraption on the roof of his car, just driving around. Yeah, that's sick. I love seeing like cosplay or cool things in public where I'm like, hell yeah, get it. That's awesome. Like, keep killing it. You're really killing it out there. Our ancestors killed off the dangerous wildlife, so I can't go out in the woods and almost get gored by a boar. I know, it sucks. Because it's way better, right? The threat of getting gored is cooler when your friends are around, because then you don't worry so much, you know? Used to work for Parks and Rec, technically illegal in New York to pick the fruit off trees. Probably because they're gonna like kill you, right? Like, the fish in the river probably kill you in New York because they're so poisoned, like polluted or something. Boars scatter, yeah. Hey Shovels, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome in. Oh yeah, but I miss that. I gotta find a way. You gotta find a way to get more whimsy in. But I mean, that's what like going into the woods is for. It's just you know, it's tough because there's no one else around to go in the woods when I go in the woods. So it's not like I can even like set that up. It's just like, no, I will be alone in the woods. I do like that to some extent, being alone. It's nice to get to, you know, wander around with music and stuff. But sometimes I wanna go get food with somebody and then go wander around in the woods and talk and stuff. They should let us have class outside, but like offices, like jobs. We should do our office jobs outside, just like they do class outside sometimes. Yeah, doing gnome stuff. Lightning McQueen car. I know someone who has a Goku blue wrapped car nearby. That's so cool. That's so sick. It's like, you know, it's something, but it's like, whew, that's cool to see. The world's bigger and more fun than people think. Yeah, no, like I think a lot, and this, I swear this isn't thing Japan. This is just like thing travel, but when I go on my trips, when I go on my like little adventure trips, I feel like I'm a better person. Like really, like lifestyle wise, ease of health wise, energy wise. Even though I'm working harder, I feel like I'm better. And it's really weird because it's not like I'm on vacation. Like when I go on and I travel, it's not so much a vacation as it is like more adventure oriented, right? Like I'm walking like 10, 15 miles a day. I'm staying in like shacks. I'm staying in like, you know, manga cafe, Airbnbs that are like 20 bucks. I don't know where I'm getting my next meal. I'm just wandering around and stuff, exploring. But like life is just so much more exciting that way. It just feels right. It feels proper. And that's why it like really calls me in. Is it feels like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Is just kind of wandering around and like going on adventures and taking things as they come. You know? But it's so much bigger. Like you said, Heroic. It's like it's way more fun to do that, I think, than anything else. Like it's one thing seeing a tourist site, right? It's one thing seeing like a cool tourist attraction, a famous site. It's another thing waking up at like 5 a.m. in a house you don't know and getting ready and then shoving out with your backpack and you don't know what the day's gonna bring and you go get some food at a, you know, kombini and you're just gonna jump on a train going somewhere but you don't know where and you have no idea what you're gonna find. It's like, oh, that's it right there. Oh, need that. Yeah, they don't have permission. Yeah, big Goku food cart. Yeah, hell yeah. But imagine being alone in the woods, you start hearing a slow version of the Willy Wonka song. No thank you. That would be kind of scary, kind of spooky. Doing West Side Story walk at you in the distance. Yeah, that's when anyone encounters me in the woods. That's when anyone encounters me in the woods. I'm just like prowling around. Like sprinting around, run into someone else, scare the hell out of them. It's like, oh, sorry. I'm just trying to be whimsical. I'm just silly. But yeah, I think I really recommend if people haven't ever tried that form of travel, I recommend trying a form of travel if you can, where you kind of don't have a plan and you kind of do things on the fly because it builds resiliency, but it also is just like a true adventure. It's like a way to experience adventure like people used to, right? Where you don't really know where you're going. Everything's not planned. You don't know what the day is going to hold. But you know that with your tools on your back and your smart mind, you're going to get through it, right? Liaison time. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. I'm getting pretty hungry. Almost soup and brickin' time. Yeah, I love to travel, but money. The nice thing I will say, Ori, is that it is the cheapest way to travel also conveniently because you're slumming it basically. You're slumming it. So you're doing everything as cheap as possible for the most part. So you better be ready if I ever encounter you. You know what must happen. Yeah, we have to battle. We have to unleash our Bankai if we lock eyes. You did that when you went to Canada, except my friends still plan stuff out. I was just following them the whole time. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, sneak on a train car, live the hobo life. Yeah, absolutely. Like one time, I took a trip up to, I think, where was I? I went to Canada, and I just kind of stayed in a hostel in Montreal for like a few days. And I didn't have any plan. I was just like, let's see what happens. Let's see who I meet. You know, let's see what I get up to. And yeah, that's sometimes the start of the silliest adventures. So just got to be open to adventure, I think. I think a lot of times vacationing can be there's many types of vacation, right? There's a relaxing vacation where you go and you hang out and you're like in front of a pool, you know, you're drinking pina coladas, you're in the sun, you're just relaxing, right? You worked hard, you're all stressed out from work. It's just a way to unwind and get yourself back to normal, right? That's one type of vacation. Then there's like the planned hyper mode, not relaxation vacation where you're going somewhere, but you're going to see all this stuff and you have to hit this timetable and you got to get on this bus and stuff like that. But you're going to see all the sights and really experience like the best parts, quote unquote, of a country as said by the guidebook. And then there's the type I'm talking about, which is kind of just like go live there. That's the type of travel I like to do, where it's like, just go and live there for a bit, like be there a while, and like you go see tourist things, but like you're just kind of vibing, and you see what you get up to, right? What you run into, what adventures you have. Let whimsy come to you. When you're setting up the VTuber Invitational Japan trip, I released 20 VTubing weebs in the middle of Osaka for 5 hours. Yeah, well, there's a lot of VTubers in Japan, right? So if I ever were to go, I'm sure there'd be a lot of off-collab stuff. And that is in the plans. Like, my plans involve streaming from Japan. I know we've talked about it before, but I have a mobile streaming setup. That's part of what I do here. And the compass is in my Oshi mark for a reason. There will be a point in time where suddenly I am in Japan for an extended period of time, and the streams are going from there now, right? We're suddenly just going to be like, we're in Japan. I took a trip overnight and now I'm there, and the stream schedule continues. But this time I'm in Japan for 3 months. That'll happen. That's going to happen. Because I wouldn't stay in the same place for too long. I lied to 10 streamers about translating for them when we get there. Yeah, they are naturally drawn. VTubers are drawn to Japan, like moths to a flame. My subtitles, I can't talk without my subtitles. Yeah, where are the subtitles when you go to Japan? Where are they? I gotta get better Japanese again. Luckily there's an opportunity coming up where I will, but I gotta get better. I've lost a lot of my skills. I'm probably like a third as good as I was. Probably really bad, probably worse, probably overestimating. You can speak broken Japanese? Me too. I call it Neanderhongo. It's like Neanderthal plus Nihongo, right? where I use no proper like grammar connecting or conjunctions, but I know the words. So I'm just like, I'm stringing sentences that probably sound like a Neanderthal talking. Yeah, Sclimbo Genki desu ka? Yeah, hi. Chol Genki. Yeah, I guess our AR glasses can live translate now. Learning Japanese stream, I just need to remember it, because I went all in on comprehension and speaking, because I figured if I couldn't read something, I could just ask somebody what it says, and it did pretty well for me. Like, when I was at my best, I could hold conversations for about 30 minutes, about basic topics, nothing crazy. I wouldn't say I was conversational, but I didn't need to translate things. You know, I couldn't read kanji, but I could read hiragana and katakana, and I could speak and understand pretty damn well. And I also got way better while I was there, because I was there for like 3 months, right? And I was there were many times where I was not using English ever. I always tried not to use English, but there were periods of time where I was in more rural Japan where I would had not spoken in English for like a month straight, and I was getting really good then. But I've lost like all of that. So remember, the more the restaurant looks like a hole in the wall, the better the ramen. So true. Wanikani helped me. Yeah, Wanikani was a recommendation for me too. I just figured that I didn't need to learn, like, learning kanji was not a good use of my time, because I was studying before going on that first trip, and I was like, okay, I took a year when I was in the factory. I took a year of Japanese, right? I watch a lot of anime, and I'm like, so I know a lot of like words, I know a lot of vocab, and I took a year of Japanese at the Sclim factory, right, at the male VTuber factory. And so I was like, I have 3 months to get as good as I can for the trip. It didn't make sense for me to learn kanji, because I was like, well, in many places, kanji is broken up into hiragana and katakana, and that's easy to learn. And if I know the vocabulary, I can know what that's saying. And then if I just focus on speaking and understanding, I can ask somebody what something says or translate it on my phone. So I was like, it made sense to go all in on comprehension, and it did work. It did work pretty well. I like, you know, I was illiterate. I couldn't read what things said for the most part, but I often didn't need to, because other signs would help, or I just talk to people. So it was a good way to do it. But yeah, the big thing is just learning the convenience store, like call and response, right? There's like a script that you get at every konbini, and as long as you know what they're saying and you know the responses to all that, you can feel like a master when you walk in, because you know what they're gonna ask. You know they're gonna ask if they want something to be heated up. They might ask if you want chopsticks. They might ask if you want something else. You know, they're gonna ask how you want to pay and stuff like that. It's like you get the script and you're good. You're like, bam, 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 I know the script works. And then when they throw you for a loop, you learn a new script, right? Suddenly they ask you for the first time, oh, do you want a bag? And you're like, what did they just say? And you figure it out, right? Because you heard one word. You're like, I know bag. Okay, yeah, got it. Pointo kado, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that one's easy though. That's just like, you know, that's like a loan word. You have a point card and like, nope. My crowning achievement though, was, I think I was in Niigata, and the hotel asked for my Zairyu card instead of my passport, and I was like, I did it, because that's the card you get when you're a permanent resident in Japan, but you're like a foreigner, like a foreign permanent resident. So I was like, okay, I passed for a resident of Japan. I was like, that was my biggest ever, the best Nihongo Jozu you could get is asked for your Zairyu card. And I was like, oh no, just passport. I love the restaurants that just give you the receipt in the machines. Yeah, except for when you don't realize I don't look very, like, I'm not very aware. So I'd walk into a shop and try to order and then get pointed to the machine that was in the corner. And I was like, oh, right. Advanced Nihongo Jozu, yeah. Name for shopping bag, but I forgot. I believe Fukuro. You can use Fukuro for that, and they'll understand by meaning of bag, but I don't think that's like the exact word for it. Let me see. What is, because trash bag is like Gomi Fukuro, but what is like plastic bag? Japanese word for plastic bag, because they'd usually ask me Fukuro, I think. Okay, so they're using Bukuro. Biniru Bukuro. Is it Fukuro or Bukuro? Bukuro refers to being bags made of paper. Fukuro is fabric. Ah. Kaban is bags made of leather or synthetic material. Got it. Got it. You ever feel like a Fukuro? Yeah, I do. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Is like, if you just say words, this is the cool fact about language. Like, you've probably been on the receiving end of this, right? You don't need to know proper grammar in order to communicate with people, right? Like, imagine somebody comes up to you and they don't speak your language, right? But they come up to you and they say, bathroom where, right? You know what they're saying. They're asking where's the bathroom, and you point them in that direction. So you can take, I don't recommend it, but you can take that approach to Japanese as a beginner and just be like, just get me the words and get me the general sentence structure, and I'll learn as much of that as I can so I can communicate my point. It doesn't have to be nice and articulate. You know what I mean? Nikolai, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Like, you don't have to be hyper articulate. You can just say things like, you know, like when I think about my Japanese and speaking it, when I'm talking to somebody in a conversation, it's probably not going to be the most fluent thing. But like, if I wanted to say to somebody, like, I imagine what they're hearing would be something to the effect of like, they're asking me like what I'm doing traveling around Japan, right? And one of my answers, I'd construct a few sentences and I'd talk, and they're probably hearing something to the effect of like, traveling across Japan, journey 3 months, you know, starting from this prefecture, and I'm now in this prefecture, right? So that's going to be not a complete sentence strung together with all the different articles and stuff like that, but they know what I'm saying and I can communicate, and then I understand what they're asking me in return. So we're communicating in the language. It's just not the most formal form, and it's not the most articulate form. That's why I call it Neanderhongo. Because that was my specialty. It's just saying things that are like understandable, but might not be the most grammatically correct. Like sometimes maybe I'd mess up a conjugation, right? But they know what you mean. Yeah, toilet doko, toire doko. No, that's easy, right? Like, I know like the basic stuff. When you're talking about stringing together multiple subjects and like adverbs and and adjectives, it's like, yeah, maybe the placement might have been wrong, but when anime is a bad VA for English. Yeah, but like, just think about it. Like when somebody comes up to you with broken English, but you know what they're trying to get, right? Like, you know, they hold up something and they'll be like, how much is this? They're not saying like, oh, how much is this leather coat? They're saying, how much is this, the thing that they're holding, right? Or they're pointing to a menu. Can I have this? One of this, please. And that is totally serviceable, I think, especially for a beginner. Obviously, you know, you move past that, but baby steps. Start by learning basic words. You can learn how to put them in sentences. I think vocab is more important than anything, because once you hear a word, you know what somebody's asking for the most part, right? So like, good example, the first time I run into, I believe it was atatame masuka, which was like the konbini worker asking if I wanted my food heated up, right? I knew the word for heat, for hot, atatamete, and I was like, that's probably them asking if I want my food heated up because I got a bento, right? Context clues. And then you know that word now, and you know what they're asking. So it's, yeah, you learn like a baby that way, right? Based on the context. So that's why immersion's always the best. Eigo hanashimasu. Yeah, eigo hanashimasu ka was your most used phrase while in Tokyo. Yeah, I always use like Nihongo skoshi dake hanashimasu, or Nihongo ga skoshi dake hanashimasu, which was like a little bit of Japanese, but then I'd say like kantan Nihongo, which is like simple Japanese, please, or kantan Nihongo onegaishimasu. So I'd be asking simple please, simple please. Don't get too complicated, because sometimes if you hit people with a really complete sentence that you've pre-rehearsed, they'll go, oh okay, and start talking at 10 million miles an hour, and you're like, too much. So yeah, too much. So you gotta tell them simple please. But yummy drink. But yeah, it's a beautiful travels. I gotta get there again. I do have some cool travels this year. Like, I'm excited to go to CarrierCon, excited to go to San Jose again. Probably get to explore a cool boat. Maybe I'll get to like go out and explore San Jose a little bit more this time, because at Offkai was kind of just like in the center of the city. Then, you know, Offkai's coming up too, so that'll be back there again just a few months later. Maybe some other cons might be going on. A lot going on, cool stuff. Used a bit of Japanese to help some people get around the museum, and they instantly fell into grandmother native Japanese. Yeah. Yeah, oh god, and dialects. Ooh, and dialects, because it's not just Kansai dialect. There's a lot of them. There's a Hokkaido dialect. There's a what's it called, Kyushu dialect. There is specifically a, oh god, what was the prefecture? I'm forgetting the name right now. It's in between Kyushu and it's like below Tottori and Shimane. There's a dialect there that's tough too. Kansai Ben is pretty easy because it's so popular. So like you've heard of Kansai Ben before, but there's some that you haven't heard of, and you're like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. The joke in Family Guy about knowing 2 sentences in English. Yeah, like perfectly. Flattered, flustered, floundering. Sure is. But yeah, there's a lot of dialects. And some of them are really tough. But especially, you know, talking to older people. But because then it's like, oof, that's tough. But for the most part, I think old people in Japan were really nice. Were very, very nice. I stayed with them for the most part because I did a lot of like homestays whenever I go. And most of the people running the Airbnbs are like 90-year-old couples. So you talk to a lot of obatsans, you talk to a lot of grandmas and grandpas and stuff, and they're really nice. They're really nice. So also cool. They're like hip. They're pretty cool. I don't know. For the most part, maybe it's like select bias because they're all on Airbnb, right? So they like know how to use technology. But I'd run into a lot of like 80, 90-year-olds who like, you know, they had like knew how to use their phone really well. They had a lot of technology. They knew how to operate it, and they were pretty like hip and like fit still and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's like so different from here, where people over 70 refuse to use a computer and still don't know what a computer is, despite, you know, it being like 35 years after most people started looking at touching them. Like, if you didn't learn something that's been around for 35 years, I don't know. I think that's on you. I think it's on you at that point. You had a chance. You were young. Old's not an excuse for that. Used to Kansai dialects thanks to Majima. Yeah, and the thing for me too is like, I primarily spend time in Kansai, so I am more used to Kansai dialect. Maido and stuff like that. Hell yeah. Wonder if that's a Japan thing. Hey, thanks, Art York, man. I don't know what the congrats is for, but I'll take it. Thanks. Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of people I think here who just like refuse to engage with technology because they're like, that's not how it was when I was younger. And I'm like, that's okay. It's been 40 years. You should probably get on that train at some point. Will Fattori Heiji. Yeah, Detective Conan's a great show. Don't mention the restaurant QR code menus. I mean, at least they have English menus, Damon, right? They're not the best, but like you could figure them out. They're not the worst. But the nice thing about Japan is you're allowed to just point at something and say, one of this, please. And that's like the best part. Also, another great part about Japan, but also something to know, is that waiters and waitresses generally won't come around and ask how you're doing like they do in the US. Like, if you want something, you have to flag them down and you have to ask for it. But it's also cool because you control the interaction, right? So, and it's expected. It's like, if you need something, if you need to order something, if you need the check, you raise your hand, you sumimasen, and you bring them over. But because of that, you're initiating the conversation, so you can lead it whatever path you want. The danger, you want to start, if you're like a beginner to Japanese, you want to initiate the conversation, right? Don't let them initiate if you can avoid it, because then it's on their terms and they might say something that you have no idea what they're saying. But if you start, you get to look cool and ask for something simple first, and probably just get a yes or no and feel like you got confidence because you use Japanese. So it's good to, like, the most dangerous conversations are when they start and you're like, uh-oh. Hit him with the sumimasen. Yeah, sumimasen. You did nothing wrong? Hell yeah, Jodo pilled. I am Jodo pilled, it's true. But yeah, I just always thought about trying to be the American that the Japanese thought I was, and that went pretty well for me. Yeah, Noodle Bowl, hungry now. Onegai shimasu. Choto, a minute. Sumima, sorry. Gomenasari and Sumima, excuse me. My bad. Sumimasen. Just trying to unleash my weeb strength, yeah. They call me Sclimbo Rawhide Takahashi. Yeah, no, you should unseal me. You should do it. Hey, you should unseal me. Have you thought about unsealing me? It's a good idea. Hey, you should unseal me. It'd be safe. Gomen Oomph-chan. How many American flags were you wearing? Oh, none? Okay, but you know what? No, wait, I did have one. So my favorite shirt to wear in Japan. This is how much I did it. And this is not a joke. I wore a Tokyo Olympics shirt with the US flag on it. And that was my main shirt while I was there. So they knew I was an American. That was like my one of my goals was like, I think it'd be funny. I am trying to get people to unseal my power at 2. So my plan going into Japan was like, I was like, okay, I recognize that I am a large foreigner and I'm going to rural areas, right? I'm going to places where they don't get a lot of tourists. And I realized that because I don't dress, you know, with the culture, I'm wearing tank tops a lot and things like that. Like I can be intimidating. Like I realized that pretty early on because people would like not sit on me near me on the trains and stuff. They do whatever they can to avoid sitting next to me. And so I was like, okay, let me craft this idea of like being the American that people would see on TV. And I use that to my advantage. So I'd wear like an American flag, like Tokyo Olympics shirt, and I'd use a few words that I knew were definitionally correct, but not contextually correct because it was funny and people laughed when I did it. So my favorite one, and you can steal this. This is my number one tip, right? So kanpeki. Kanpeki is a word that means perfect or perfection, but it's not used generally to say like, oh, that's perfect, like we would here, right? Where somebody says like, we can see you right now, and you're like, oh, perfect, that sounds great. But I would use it like that, and everyone found it so funny, it was endearing, and so I just leaned into it. I just kept using, yeah, kanpeki, just use kanpeki a lot, and they think it was like adorable almost, right? And so I leaned into the stereotype of being like the big goofy, like silly, happy American guy, like haha, big high energy American, and it worked really well. Like even all the older people and stuff would just be like super warm and welcoming to me. Nobody was scared because I was just being this big goofball American that they expected, right? I wasn't an unknown variable. And I think it worked really well. I think it worked really well for my purposes. So secret to lowering your threatening aura by becoming the himbo. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. What were you saying, Crab? They sold Karsk? Let's see. Remember finding a Norwegian bar somewhere in Tokyo, and it felt like it was more deep cut real Norwegian retro than they even realized. They sold Karsk, which is the Norwegian equivalent of hooch. Sort of a lowbrow, definitely Norwegian. Nice. Coffee, white spirits. Yeah, it was, but so you could steal that one. Like, if you know some Japanese, start hitting them with kanpeki. They think it's so funny. And I was like, yeah, it is funny. It is funny. They just didn't know that I'd engineered that scenario. It was all part of my plan. I knew it wasn't proper context to use kanpeki, but in my mind, I was like, hey, this means perfect, and I'm saying something's perfect, so what's the problem, right? I'm happy. I'm saying the food's kanpeki. I'm saying everything's kanpeki. So it was a good tool in the arsenal. All right. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, everybody. Like I said, short stream today, but I've been streaming a lot this week. I'm not gonna hit you guys with 4 collabs a week anymore. I want to focus in and not do that much so I can focus on the collabs I do, make sure I bring all my energy to that. So sorry if I was at all out of it at all this week. We did a lot, but we're not done. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. EST, I'm gonna be over on Haneko's channel for Riz is Blind, the VTuber dating show. We're probably gonna have an hour between that and then the Yomi and I conspiracy collab here on this channel. So we'll be live at our normal time tomorrow with Yomi. Have a really fun stream for the conspiracy thing set up for you. Did a lot of work for that, so hope to see you there. I'm gonna find someone to raid into, and we're gonna get on out of here. Alrighty. Oh, thanks for the bits. Konpeki stream. Thanks, A12. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Just did a just chatting and fitness today. I don't know. Maybe if I'm bored tonight, maybe I'll play Emerald Blitz or Rogue in sub-only section of Discord. Maybe if I'm bored tonight, because I do have some time. You know what I mean? I do have some time. You didn't change your model. What do you mean? I don't think I got to redeem for that. Konpeki raid. Thank you so much, Matthew. Did I get a model change? It's automatic, so I shouldn't have had to do it. Yeah, I didn't see a model change. Oh, well, we're getting out of here anyway. Don't redeem it now. All right, let's find out who we're raiding into. I don't think Yomi's not streaming tomorrow, I don't believe. So let's raid Yomi today because we are working with Yomi tomorrow. Go over to Yomi. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one. I'm going to go get a snack and enjoy a little free time this week. But I might be in Discord tonight, so teehee. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Big lovers. See you around.